Welcome to Crankworx Whistler, our annual homecoming back to the birthplace of the Crankworx World Tour. Look around, athletes, fans, industry, media, we're all here. And today, we are gearing up for a big race, Alan.
Absolutely, Cam. We're here for the Specialized Canadian Open Downhill Race. It's one of those races that allows any rider to pen their name in the Crankworx history books.
Look at the start list, underdogs, big names. I can't wait to watch this race. Let's get into it. What is up, race fans? Thank you so much for joining us here today in the Specialized Canadian Open Downhill, live from beautiful Whistler, British Columbia. And what a great day it is for it out here. Blue sky and a very fast 11.99 downhill track, Alan.
Yeah, absolutely, Cam. The conditions couldn't be perfect. Wet dirt, dry roots, and rocks. That's going to have these riders just absolutely sending it down this course.
Yep, we're live right now on the Crankworx YouTube channel, so if you're joining us, make sure to subscribe. We're going to be bringing you slopestyle here in just 2 days, and this is the third stop of the Crankworx World Tour for 2026. And as per tradition, we love to chat with you on the YouTube channel, so I got my phone logged in with the video right here. We'll be watching those comments. We'll be giving away some merch as well. We have some Crankworx 2006 merchandise, a shirt and some socks. So we'll be polling you. We want to know who you have picked for the win out here today. We've got the top 20 men for the 11.99 downhill and the top 20 from seeding, and we're going to be dropping them here momentarily. Who do you have your eyes on?
Ooh, man, it's going to be such a good race between the men and the women. You know, I think I got my eye on Indy Deavoll. That's really what this open category offers those younger riders to really stake their claim in amongst the elites. She qualified third as a junior in this elite open category, so I'm really looking to see her capitalize on that today.
And you spoke about that at the beginning, but that really is what sets this race apart, and that's what's so exciting is it's an open opportunity. You can have underdogs out there, actually youngsters racing in the U17 and the U19, and they can finish the race and say, you know what, I'm gonna try my hand in the pro category, go out there for seeding and see what happens.
Yeah, or if you're like a 30-plus washed-up BMXer and Mick Hanna talks you into racing your first downhill race, you can enter the Canadian Open. That was my first downhill race, like in 2013.
Yeah, it's a tradition out here. We had the OG Canadian downhill 2 days ago, and now 11.99 today. But this is stop 3 of the Crankworx World Tour. It's been a few months since we've had an event. We kicked off the season in our Northern Hemisphere winter. We went down to the Southern Hemisphere. We had 2 events in the beautiful country of New Zealand, one on the South Island, Christchurch, and then we returned to Rotorua, New Zealand on the North Island. Of course, here we are today in the birthplace of Crankworx in Whistler, but then we'll have another BC stop at Silver Star Resort before we cap off the season. For the first time, all the way over in Quebec, Mont Saint Anne will be returning to that legendary downhill track. First time we'll be racing it on the Crankworx World Tour. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that, Cam. I mean, usually Whistler's a little melancholy, right? Like, it's Whistler, everyone's stoked, but it's also the end of the tour. Well, not this year, and I've never been to Mont Saint Anne, so I'm really excited for the next one.
It's going to be fun. It's already been a fun week out here. We had the Canadian Open downhill over in Whistler Village. This is obviously the 1199 track built in homage to the legendary Stevie Smith. And you know, the Canadian Open downhill in the Whistler Village has so many great stories. You can think back all the way to 2007, the first year it was run. We saw a clip right there on screen of Nathan Rennie way back when. G. Atherton took a win here in 2011. Casey Brown, before she turned full free ride, took the win in 2015. But man, oh man, do we have some dominant characters in the history of the OG Canadian Open downhill.
Yeah, Tracy Hanna, absolutely one of them, still winning races down in Cairns, but did 5 Canadian Opens consecutively here. And then Troy Brosnan began his reign, which happened to really continue all the way through even this week.
Look at that. Troy Brosnan grabbing his 7th out here a couple days ago. Tracy, she's won 6 of them. And it's exciting to just kind of, you know, a couple years ago, start a new legacy with this new downhill track. And some legends have already started to present themselves on this course. One that comes to mind, of course, is Jakob Jewett.
Yeah, absolutely. The Jewett brothers, you know, both of them have really shown over the years this course and this vibe of being at home in Canada really pushes them to that next level. Jakob, he's won it twice now, the last 2 times we've ran it, but the first time Dane actually had a faster time in the junior category, and they're really going to lay it all out here today in perfect conditions nonetheless.
And Dane is the #1 qualifier, so the Jewett boys love this 1199 track. They are the legends etching themselves into the history books of what the legacy is to this track. But you know what? Who's been on top all season this year so far in the first 2 stops of the Crankworx World Tour when it comes to downhill? Luke Meier-Smith. And we're talking about the first 2 stops, 2 very different courses, but the same winner at both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Luke Meier-Smith is not going to get caught up in the local boy hype. He's looking to really lay it down out here. And as you said, he's really been able to win on different courses. Christchurch, so physical, so pedally. And then the new Skyline downhill, a lot more technical, some more bike park in it. I would say this course here is a mix of those items, but on level 10, all the way down the course.
And the stage really is set for an insanely entertaining final. If you think the fact that our winner from the first 2 stops qualified 2nd here, and then one of the Jewett boys, Dane this time, qualified 1st. But here's a look at the top 20. Jed Stanton making the cut, Gabriel Neron making the cut. Camden Rutherfurd, that name stands out. He competed in the U19, won the junior category, so that's another example of a rider who said, you know what, I may be a Grom, but I'm gonna come out and try my hand at the pro category as well.
Yeah, we saw Jakob. We're going to see him a little bit earlier there in 14th. He had a bit of an issue in qualifying, had a crash, but you were mentioning that psychological impact of having your first big crash after coming back from an injury. He's coming back from a shoulder injury, so that first crash may be that little extra confidence he needs to really make his brother have to think about it as the last man down.
For sure, and is it kind of hilarious that we just breezed through this start list and we didn't even talk about the fact that we have Asa Vermette, Jackson Goldstone, and wait till you see who's sitting in the hot seat from our preliminary racers who didn't qualify in the top 20 for the men. We've got Richie Root sitting in that hot seat right there. Lucas Shaw in the mix as well. So yeah, big names out there today in the men's field. But let's talk about the women's field a little bit. Taking it back to the OG Canadian Open downhill 2 days ago, Mille Johnset took the win there. She'll be racing out here again today.
Yeah, Millie, no stranger to the podium. She's really placed herself as one of those riders that could be on that podium at every race. She's also been through some of the gnarliest crashes I've ever seen out of anybody, and she always gets back up and always seems to get a little bit better every step of the way.
Well, our #1 qualifier, Gracey Hemstreet, you know the local crowd is going to be getting behind her.
Yeah, Gracey, so awesome to see her out here in her element. Grew up on the coast. Her dad actually one of the originators of the Coast Gravity Park, so she grew up riding big jumps, big deep trails with absolute legends in our sport. That's her example. That's just riding bikes for her.
#1 qualifier, so Gracey Hemstreet will be the final rider to drop into this 1199 downhill track for the women. And we are moments away from kicking this thing off out. A look at the start list for our broadcast here in the women's category. As I mentioned, the top 10. Emmy Lan just making the cut into our show.
Yeah, Emmy Lan just making the cut right there. We're going to see her down first. Also, a bit of a crossover. We've seen her in Enduro as well. Mille Johnset, we just saw her on screen.
How
But there she is right there. You see her third place qualifier, Indy Deavoll. She is our highest qualifying junior here in the Open.
Aletha Ostgaard in there.
Yeah, Matilda Melton. There's definitely a stacked field out here today.
As per tradition, any Crankworx stop, especially the Whistler stop, we have so many events, so much action going on throughout the week, and we've already finished a few of those. One of them was the Canadian Open Enduro.
Yeah, Elliot Jamieson taking his second win in a row on that. Little story about Elliot. He followed me down the gnarliest trail in Santa Cruz blind and did every single obstacle. I couldn't believe it. And then Ryan Gilchrist right here. You see him on top of the podium in the Air DH. It's been a heck of a week so far.
What sets this 1199 downhill track apart from the rest, especially, you know, the rest of the events that we actually have here in Whistler? What sets this one apart?
You know, I think it being in Whistler, there's an intent, right? We got to build the sickest track, not just the gnarliest, not just the fastest, but everything combined. And the fact that it was Mick Hanna out here maybe 8 years ago helping flag this thing out. One of the biggest legends in our sport. Mick Hanna helped create this track. It's got the vibe of the chainsaw. It's got, you know, everything that Whistler brings.
And, you know, this is a downhill series, 5 stops. Of course, we've had 2 stops already. We're about to drop into our 3rd stop today. But yet to come, Silver Star and Mont Saint Anne.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to be getting into some exciting events there. Mont Saint Anne, an absolute legendary track and crowd. I have not been there, but I heard Mont Saint Anne comes out when there's a downhill race.
Yeah, and of course we're going to be racking up those points and crowning a downhill series overall champion, both for the women and the men. And you don't have to be a mathematician to know who's going to be leading those standings right now when it comes to the men's category.
Yeah, we see Luke Meier-Smith with quite the lead right there over Ryan Gilchrist, who's currently 2nd place on the hot seat. Lockie Stevens-McNabb, Troy Brosnan here today. He's going to be looking to take his 2nd Canadian Open of the week, taking that OG race just a few days ago.
And the standings for the women, you know, another, you know, similar circumstance there. We got Lockie winning the first 2 stops for the men. Jenna, easy math, winning the first 2 stops for the women.
Yeah, absolutely. But then, you know, Jenna not going to be collecting points today. Unfortunate mishap has her not on the starting hill.
Well, good to go. Here we go. We have our first rider in our top 10 from seeding for the women here, dropping in. Emmy Lan taking to the course. It's going to be great for all of you viewing at home right here, getting to see this track that we've been talking about. The riders all saying that, you know, conditions have dried up so much since first few practices.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as we've mentioned a couple of times, the track is in absolute peak condition right here. Emmy Lan is going to be looking to lay it down. We've heard from some of the riders on the hot seat that they're giving it about a 10-second advantage on the course over qualifying earlier.
And that's just the way the course is flowing on its own. Then you consider how much extra emphasis and energy these riders are going to put into these runs. You know, we've been seeing interviews from riders and chatting with riders here in the finish corral after practice. You know, a lot of them saying there are a handful of seconds out there to be had, both, you know, with the course kind of improving conditions, but also just the pedaling sections, how much more they have on tap to really give it here in the finals. And as we see the crowd filling in, you know, this Whistler crowd tends to line this track and really cheer them on, which is going to get them kind of pushing themselves.
Cam, can you look at that sector map and tell me what you're seeing? Is that a 29 seconds in the green? What has she done up there in that pedal section? Emmy Lan, known in the Enduro world, back-to-back seasons winning the Enduro World Championship in U21. She is no slouch when it comes to fitness and laid it down in that middle sector. I cannot believe that. So Emmy Lan railing. This is where this track really sort of shows its different beasts, its different heads. Up top, it is so deep and so technical, so many compressions, and then you have to sprint straight back into more technicality. And look how steep this chute is right here.
There's an example of what you can expect to hear from the crowd as you're taking your run down this trail.
Yeah, that wasn't a heckle section, it was a love section.
Yeah.
So awesome to see Emmy Lan here laying it down on the broadcast here on the 1199 course. She's been riding mountain bikes since she was 5 years old, started over in Vancouver Island. Something in the water over there for sure. Let's see what she's got as she comes down. How is this gonna hold up? I think we might have some timing split issues right there.
So it sounds like Emmy going into second place right now with that 4:10.
Yeah, I don't know how much water.
Now talk about, we haven't mentioned
29
who's in the hot seat yet. Tayte Ostgaard sitting there for a bit.
Yeah, she's been there for a while. She actually blew her qualifying time away. Her sister's gonna be up next, but right now we have Mille Johnset in the starting hut. Rider out of Oslo, Norway.
Mille Johnset picking up her second in a row win in the OG Canadian Open downhill over on the Whistler side of the mountain. The Whistler Village side of the mountain, I should say. Of course, we're racing on the creek side area of the hill today.
You can see how this course, just as soon as you come out of the gate, the compressions start. It's like, if you want to know physically how it is to go down this course, do push-ups for 3.5 minutes straight, but in the middle, do a sprint, a 100-yard sprint.
Ooh, within touch here, just 0.6 back from Tayte Ostgaard in the first split here for Mille Johnset.
So Mille Johnset looking really composed right there. Little nose heavy, but that's going to increase the pump on that landing. Down off of the step down, keeping her pumped. Does she get the triple? Yes, she does.
Yeah, that's going to help so much carry momentum into that flat section. See a lot of riders taking a couple pedals, but going into a speed tuck right there, trying to preserve some energy and just get all aerodynamic.
In this section here, as it goes back into the woods, it gets super tech and more compressions as your body's just completely blown out.
Let's see what that second split has to say here. As we mentioned, Tayte Ostgaard been sitting in the hot seat for quite some time. We heard when she crossed the finish line, she was ahead by 20 seconds, but now as we're working our way into the business end of this seating list here, it's gonna get harder and harder to hold on to that hot seat.
Yeah, Mille Johnset, one of those racers that can transfer the ski racing abilities. She grew up alpine ski racing, made the switch into mountain biking all the way to be the Norwegian national champion. Gets quite nose heavy right there, Cam.
So nosy, what a save. I mean, how much of that is due to fatigue as well? You're coming in there, your legs are jello, your arms are jello, noodles.
And then straight back into more compressions in the woods. I'm so glad that wasn't another Mille Johnset crash clip. She did everything right to hold on to that.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about how you got to be able to do a bunch of push-ups to be able to hold on in these technical sections, but right there, that was basically trying to hold up a squat, keeping the legs from compressing in the bowl of that lip.
Yeah, they added some more berms down here in the bottom section, so the flow and the speed down here is a lot faster. Here she is off of the drop, back into the village. What's it gonna be? Second place by only 0.08.
No way, 0.08 of a second off of the lead. Tayte Ostgaard.
She basically tied.
Maintain her residency in that hot seat. Oh, but it's exciting to see who we have coming up next. Before that, let's take a look back at some of these replays. Man, did she ever have a save on that near OTB on that big tabletop lift. Just 0.08 of a second. Things are tightening up here right now. Tayte Ostgaard still in the hot seat, but who do we have next loading up in the start hut?
We have Aletha, Taylor's sister, coming up next. Let's see if she can unseat her sister's long stay in #1.
Yeah, Aletha is on fire so far this season. Let's see if she can.
She's stoked.
Knock out sister.
Mountain bike racing is definitely a family sport for the Ostgaards. Aletha, one of the juniors, making a lot of waves, winning the opening season race on the World Cup as a junior, but posting the fastest overall female time, as she did at National Champs.
This should be good.
So let's see what she's got right here.
Yeah, a lot of momentum this season. Won the Tennessee National. She's won 2 of the Monster Pro downhill stops.
She's looking really composed right here, staying square on those handlebars, looking strong, pumping for everything it's got. Oh, there goes a couple riders off course.
That's Whistler for you. You got to imagine, though, knowing that your sister is in the hot seat, somebody who, you know they're riding inside and out. That's got to inspire some confidence.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be, if she can do it, I can do it sort of thing that's going to push her just a little bit faster right here. Nice gap off there. Even had a little style. That's showing me a lot of confidence in her fitness right here as she's entering the sprint zone. Does she get the triple? Yes, she does. She's going to carry that momentum hard on the pedals.
Faster by 2 seconds over her sister in split number 1.
Takes that inside line through that gnarly last steep rock garden. Can she hold it together through this S-turn?
Oh, she extends all the way to 9.6 seconds advantage.
Yeah, she's carrying that momentum she had mid-course, and that confidence in her fitness is definitely visible. Not holding anything back, keeping her core really strong, driving the bike through the turns. This is going to hold up, Cam.
Well, let's see if the junior U.S. national downhill champion can extend here in split number 3.
You see her tires sliding out right there, but her body position stays totally true. She's comfortable on the edge right here, clean through that jump we saw Mille almost go.
That's how you want to ride that thing right there. Yeah, Mille was almost popping it. Aletha here carrying enough speed to where she was pretty much able to squash it and still get over to the backside of the landing.
It's all how you set up that turn before, Cam, if you have enough speed for that tabletop. This is that more burned out section this year on the track. A lot more high speed. These riders got to shut it down on this off camber. It's so hard to keep traction. You're on the side knobs. You want to slow down, but if you brake, it's the further it drags you down. Aletha holding on. She's looking really, really fast here. What's it going to be, Cam?
Oh, she's going to go faster for sure. The question is by how much? 14.9 seconds into the hot seat now, knocking her sister out. What a performance. With 7 riders left to go here in our pro women's field.
What a moment for these sisters right here. I mean, they've probably come up riding every day together, and now they're here on the global stage, 1 and 2.
Yeah, with 7 more riders left to drop here, Aletha Ostgaard puts almost 15 seconds into the rest of the field. Man, the wave of juniors coming up. We've got another one next, warming up in the start hut right now. Jenna Foreman. We got Aletha right here. You see those number plates that start with a 2 in the 200 range. That means they are also juniors. So a junior going into the hot seat right now with another junior. Moments away from taking to this course. The next generation of talent is flexing their muscles.
Oh yeah, such an opportunity for these riders to all be compared to each other on the same course. Such an important part of a foundation, knowing where you stand against the future racers that you have to ride against.
Look at this youngster out of Prince George, BC, just 16 years of age. She had a second at the OG Canadian Open in the juniors just a couple days ago. But we call this the Canadian Open because we leave it open to anybody who wants to come out here and try their hand in the pro field. And that's, I think, what makes this so fun to watch. 16 years old, Alan.
16 years old, going up against the fastest riders in the world, holding her own, making the big show. Such an opportunity for these riders to get comfortable and take that next step. Comes in, you can see that aggression, pumping the backsides as though it's a pump track. So hard to keep that up. Every time you go over one of those jumps, it's like doing a squat.
Yeah, multiple wins on the BC Cups this season. She's been on pace, but right now, just over 2.5 seconds back behind Aletha. Not able to get that triple right there either.
Yeah, you see her get on the pedals hard right there. That's going to be some of her enduro experience. Leaning forward, laying the power down. Let's see if she goes inside or outside in this very difficult wood section.
Yeah, if you're not clearing that triple, we just saw her case right there. You lose so much momentum coming into that flat section. Here we go, she goes rider's right.
Yeah, that rider's right line definitely one of the hardest lines, so many big impacts we've talked about. And the moment you get here, you're 3 minutes in and you still have to go through it, yet another pedal section.
Jenna has had some issues there. 22 seconds back now at split 2.
I mean, it could not have been an issue. We got to remember, Aletha has a 15 seconds in the green.
Yeah, she turned it up in between that first and second split.
Looking smooth off that last one as you dip back in. The gravel in that flat turn is so loose as you brake and go into this chute. You just want to let off the brakes, but you can barely hold on to the bars at this point. A little bit of a case, but straight back on the pedals. No harm, no foul there. Trying to carry that momentum. You can see she's sprinting all the way. It's almost like the sprint in Cairns, but we still got a lot of technical riding. You see her break loose a little bit right there. Nice recovery. Keeping her eyes forward and where she needs to go, driving that bike back online. Comes through these last couple technical turns. Railing those berms. Now you just got to try to stay on line, let off the brakes, and carry that momentum all the way to the finish. Rail this turn. Jenna Foreman still has juice to sprint across the line.
Jenna Foreman into 5th place right there. Yeah, you know, it makes you wonder as well if Aletha could have potentially had issues in seating, because putting 15 seconds into the field is so impressive. Yo. Well, one of the perks of having our booth right next to the finish corral is we get to bring you right over. Congratulations on having the fastest time so far, moving into that hot seat. Did you have any issues in seating? I mean, putting almost 15 seconds into the field is impressive here in the finals.
Yeah, yesterday I crashed up in the top part of the trail right after the first drop. But also just yesterday, it was so much harder to ride, I feel like, because it was super slick in areas. Today it's like dry and you feel confident to push a bit more. But yeah, yesterday I had a bit of a slip up, so I was just excited to ride to the best of my ability today.
That's cool. You were probably kicking yourself after that issue in seating, but now you get to hang out in the hot seat, so congrats on a great run.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm definitely stoked on that run.
Right on.
No, so I pressed it now.
Ooh.
Thank you, guys.
Elleni Turkovic on course right now. She dropped in while we were having that interview. Took second in the OG Canadian Open downhill the other day. She's racked up 4 BC Cup wins so far this season. Let's see if she has what it takes to compete with that time. We just saw Aletha Ostgaard drop, and that makes sense now, hearing that she had issues in seating.
Yeah, like you said, just missed out in that top spot in the Canadian Open. A 0.1 was the differential, so you know she's going to want to make this run count. Turkovic, you know she's got the Gargill Gorillas Mountain Bike Club rooting her on today.
So this is where we've seen a lot of riders lose so much time, not clearing that triple and then losing momentum in that flat section. We see them have a slow second split, so truth will be told once we get that second split, but man, does she ever look to be choosing some great lines through that tech section.
Yeah, Turkovic kind of doing a combination of both, went around the other side of the rock, but allowed her to rail that and keep the momentum going. A little bit longer route, but a much smoother run for sure.
So, you know, Aletha's run was so fast, but we've been seeing riders drop back more between that first and second split. So Elleni carrying the energy efficiently here. How about this track though, Alan? I mean, we've had the first 2 stops on the World Tour. Redemption Downhill Christchurch was definitely categorized as a fitness track, so much pedaling. Rotorua is pretty well rounded. What would you say, how would you say this one compares? Is everything just kind of ramped up in intensity on this track?
Yeah, it's that and more, Cam. You know, it's kind of both tracks, the physicality and the technicality combined in one, but you have to do it twice. You know, it's almost 2 tracks in one, the way that the pedal sections and the technical sections that we see Turkovic in here right now, there's kind of 2 of them, so you don't really even get a chance to take a breath. It's one after another after another. Turkovic You see that sleeve on her arm right there. So impressive, winning national champs as a rookie. I believe she won by over 5 seconds in that run as well. Taking an inside line right there, staying out of the rut, making the track a little shorter.
Hey, so
we didn't see the time stop right there, but they definitely have backups.
Elleni through the line, obviously not going to threaten the top spot. May there be any room there in the top 3 for her, though. Wait until we get the official word on her time.
Okay, that's done, Emily.
Cam, I can't explain to you what it feels like at the bottom of this track for, you know, an off-the-couch guy like myself. I mean, there's a funny clip in 2023 when I fell in the last turn and tried to pick my bike up, and I couldn't, because I couldn't feel my arms. They were throbbing so bad. You just, the blood is just packed in there, and you can't run your brakes, you can't steer in the direction you're trying to go. And watching these riders, that just shows the physicality, and these are true athletes.
I mean, that's you off the couch, but we just had a chat with Richie Root after he came down earlier and went into the hot seat. And Richie Root, if you know anything about Richie Root, you know that he's regarded as the most fit guy there is. And he's like, oh man, my shoulders are tired, my arms are tired. I was impressed by how little he was breathing, considering he just posted the fastest time. But if it's enough to make Richie Root tired, that just says something about how much physical fitness you need to ride this course. Tayte Proulx-Royds dropping in.
Kelowna rider representing Canada out here. Let's see what she's got. Awesome qualifying right there in 5th place. Multi-discipline rider, also a free rider. Those skills definitely will come in hand on this course. A lot of jumps, a lot of rock gaps, a lot of decisions to be made. It's taped so wide, it allows the riders' personalities and different riding styles to really come out and be an honest competition.
I can do it again, but it seems to have done it.
Looking good right there, getting a pedal in when she can, keeping that momentum going. Nice off of the rock, good momentum in to the step down. Catching good transition right here is so important. She does that, lands a little long, lets gravity carry her across the triple, straight back on the pedals. Tate's looking good right now.
Yeah, I know this second split could shake things up here. Tate appears to be on one.
Straight over the rock, I like that line, making it as short as possible, then carrying that momentum and whipping herself out of the turn. It's like gravitational pull in the moon right there.
I mean, listen to the crowd coming through as well. They see that sleeve, that Canadian national champ sleeve, and they just lose their mind. Within touch though, look at that. Second split back by just over 7 seconds. Crazy to say that's in touch, but you know what? That just says something about Aletha Ostgaard's run.
The setup on those turns is so important. Tate was looking really, really online right there.
Yeah,
no late braking.
Even with 7 seconds back right now, that is still very much in top 3 contention.
Such a small rider. You can see the benefit of that small rider coming through that last section as she sort of just glided through those impacts. Power to weight will be a benefit on this track, which gets me excited for Jackson Goldstone's run. Nobody uses a lightweight as an advantage like Jackson Goldstone.
Oh, we have some insane runs to come today. Yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch him hop his way through this track. All right, where's Tate gonna slot into the leaderboard here?
Looking a little bit tired right here. Bike kind of getting offline, having to bring it back, using that energy.
Yeah, well, the camera, when I
as she gets spat out of the woods, final straightaway for Tayte Proulx-Royds. Where will she land? Into second place.
And that's it. That's all it's telling me.
Yeah, juniors on fire.
Yeah, Canada represent.
That's 32.
Just that mental advantage now, being that junior rider, doing that, getting on the hot seat, being on the broadcast, having a solid run. That's motivation that can carry her through the rest of the season.
They know what's happening. It's such a mistake in Canadian downhill right now that we have athletes like Tayte Proulx-Royds who've just been, like you said, veteran competitors. We've seen Tate, it feels like since she was about 10 years old out here. Right now, she's showing
What do you think just about the rising talent of Canadian downhillers? It's so fitting that we're racing on this 1199 course. It was so long from when we had a dominant Canadian rider until Stevie Smith popped onto the scene. This track is obviously built in honor of him. 1199 is the amount of points he racked up to win his World Cup overall title in 2013. But it really just bashed down the door for young Canadian riders. And you know, just looking at the elite ranks right now, you see so much North America and Canada in particular.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even our next rider, Matilda, right here, she's out of Bellingham. It's only a couple hours away right here, Washington native. It's definitely blown up the scene. You know, I think mountain biking in general has blown up. It's the best, duh.
Having this terrain at your disposal, you know, the Pacific Northwest, also the Southeast, really providing a lot of proving grounds, and you're seeing the results out at the highest levels of downhill racing. Matilda Melton taking a win on the Northwest Cup earlier this year, Port Angeles.
Yeah, definitely a product of that Bellingham riding scene. Started racing BMX at 2 years old, so she has a race mind her entire life. Switched over to mountain bikes when she was 12.
She kind of has a finesse to her riding as well. Let's see if she gets this triple. I have to imagine she will.
Oh, went a little long on that roller. Kind of missed the backside, was able to have enough momentum to continue and make that triple.
I mean, she was less than a second back in split one.
Yeah, just 0.8, went off that center line, straight off the rock. Looking smooth right here, carrying that momentum around the corner. Kind of staying on that top 30% of each compression. That's gonna be your target. It's the smoothest way down the hill. Yeah, it's gonna be the lightest on your arms.
When you see a rider who's finding transition rather than finding walls, you know, these splits are going to express that. And there she is, only 1.5 seconds back now at split 2.
So she's definitely in touch. There's a lot more track to go. This is that point where it almost starts over, like I was saying. You got to do it twice. Another little pedal section in the middle, and then you drop straight back into the woods, and you're just absolutely blown up at this time.
Yeah, right now we're kind of starting to see if you're able to hold on to the pace, oh, nice, of Aletha in that second split, then you got a chance at crossing this finish line in the top spot. She's going to have to find some more here.
You can tell it's so steep right here. Terminal velocity, I like to call it. Your entry speed is the absolute slowest you'll be going no matter what you do. Looking smooth right here, holding on. A little bit of wobbly, her arms, she's definitely feeling it. Keeping online, railing around the outside, keeping it smooth. These final braking points, it's so important. Brake early, stays out of the rut where it's smooth, goes wide, gets the pedal and the power down.
Gonna have to be second there, look at that. Matilda Melton goes into second place, just 4.3 back.
Interesting fact, Matilda Melton, definitely a Jill Kittner prodigy. She's trained with her many of her years as a competitive bicycle athlete. Almost a carbon copy, started in BMX, now here she is, beginning her mountain bike domination just as Jill did.
Yeah, shout out to Jill taking another win in the Air DH already this week.
Don't call it a comeback.
How many of those has she won? Jeez.
A lot.
So many. It's so cool to see that she can still come out here and do it again. But yeah, you're seeing the expertise of Jill Kittner not only manifesting itself in her results, but in her protege here. Matilda Melton dropping a heater there into second place now. What do you think? Does she look like she's getting a little tired at the bottom there?
You know, I try to look at the head and what the head's doing. There was a little bobble, which, you know, it's the gnarliest track in Canada, so it could have just been that. But I think, you know, I think everybody's tired at the bottom. If you're not tired at the bottom, you haven't put enough in between there and the top to do what you need to do, and that's win.
Aletha Ostgaard in that top spot. Matilda Melton just going into second. We got Indy Deavoll loading up in the start gate right now. First in the junior category, the Canadian Open OG.
You can see that sleeve on her arm. She is the junior national champ, 17 years old right there, qualifying in third place here in the open format. So awesome to see. She's got that aggressive riding style. We've seen her be the only female to do certain obstacles on tracks. She is no stranger to going big.
Yeah, actually she won the junior in this race. It's so rare that you see a junior be able to just race in their category and then into the pros. So yeah, she's got some momentum and some confidence coming into this run. Only a half second back at split number 1.
Yeah, it's such an important building block to any racer's young career. Indy going to be taking full advantage of it right here. Looking strong. This is where you can really tell where that accumulative momentum, she's got a little time to style right there. Cumulative momentum will be paying off. She clears the triple, no problem. Looks like she's in a really hard gear there, laying it down.
Let's see, is she gonna go left or right?
I think she's going straight over the middle. Oh, she goes.
Oh, nope.
She goes left, takes that high line, brings that momentum. It's much smoother to do that. It's a little longer around to do it, but that smoother track, you can maybe go a little bit faster. That section is so cool because it's not necessarily that one is better than the other, but each different way will suit a different style of riding, a different level of fitness you have by the time you get to that part. It's going to be great to watch as it develops through the race.
So yeah, just back by 7 seconds at split number 2. So within touch of that top 3.
That S-turn shoot up there is so important to carry your momentum across that flat drop. Yep, there's that head slap. You see that, you know the fatigue is starting to pick. Up over the jump, nice momentum right there. She gets all the way up and over, so she's gonna be carrying that momentum through this flat section. Still on the pedals, love to see that. I definitely sat down and took a breath. Straight through the chute, blowing through the rock, staying on top like a set of moto whoops. That is how you do it right there. Indy Deavoll attacking, goes inside.
Yeah, she was strong through that tech section. Yeah, I think that head slap on the drop was a fluke. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, landed flat off of that drop right there. Got a little bit squirrely. Oh, and then she tucks the front end right there. Just losing the front wheel over the top of the berm. Her head had already exited the turn. She was already to the finish line in her mind. Back on the pedals. Slapping that turn.
When you're so close to the final straightaway and you wash front tire. There we go. Into 7th place there, 20 seconds back. But man, so close to having such a faster time there. Throwing it away in one of the final corners.
Yeah, no shame in that game right there. A junior qualifying 3rd is nothing.
Yeah, and those are
wave a stick at.
Tough for sure, right? And those are lessons. Yeah, the way you were kind of imagining what may have been going through her head, that can happen so easily, can't it? You hear the speakers of the finish corral. You know your run's almost over. You break your concentration for a split second and boom, you're in the dirt.
Yeah, you've been working to be somewhere your entire life, and then when you realize you're there, it might be too late. You're already losing your front end over a turn. Nothing to be ashamed about. Awesome run, except for that one mishap.
So we got 2 racers left to go here in our, I've been calling it the pro women's field, but this is the Canadian Open. This is the Open women's field right here. And we've got the 2nd place finisher from our stop number 1 on the World Tour earlier this year at Christchurch, the Redemption Downhill. Also 2nd at the 25 Junior World Champs. Eliana Hulsebosch dropping in. This could shake things up, Alan.
Yeah, absolutely. Eliana, one of those riders that is always on the cusp. Always coming, goes long off of that rock. Big impact. It's early in the run to be using that much energy, but she did not slow down one bit. Coming through this section is so important right here to carry her momentum and catch the backsides of all of these little rollers. That's where all of that training in those legs will happen. Gets the gap, catching that backside. You see pumping around the turn, staying connected to the ground. That is the key through that section. Clean off the rock drop.
Oh, man, let's get a shift in there. She looked like she was spinning.
Yeah, a little bit of a skip, definitely laying the power down. You can see skipping a little bit right there too. Sometimes when you're just wanting to get every ounce of energy through the pedals.
I mean, she's really looking aggressive.
Yeah, rails that turn. She looks really, really tight through there.
And she's tasted the blood before as well. We saw that shot earlier of her on the top step of the podium there in Rotorua back in 2024. Back by 2.5 seconds here, split number 2.
Yeah, definitely in touch, looking strong, 2.5 seconds. We've talked about it before. So many opportunities through the chute into these flat sections. You can catch so much momentum if you hit the braking points just right. And it's like getting launched out of a cannon through these flat sections. Oh, a little heavy on the front end right there, holds on to it. Didn't look like she even hit the brakes as she railed that turn.
She is pushing so hard.
Looking like James Stewart right there, hanging over the front end. It's fast, but it's dangerous.
Yeah, saved by her fork right there.
Absolutely. This chute's so important to get your braking points, keep the momentum, stay off the brakes in those turns. Your tires are not even on the ground, bouncing over the rocks. So if you try to brake mid-turn, it's too late. Eliana Hulsebosch coming down, 2.5 to make up. Looking tidy through there. Catching the momentum, pumping those rollers, railing the top of that berm. So close to disaster, but out of the rut.
It's not going to take the top spot, but should be good enough for, I think, second. We'll have to wait to see here for sure. Into third place it is. With one rider left to go, your #1 qualifier, Gracey Hemstreet. That run was on the edge there for Hulsebosch.
It was a little bit on the edge, but man, like Harry Hogg said, loose is fast and on the edge of control.
You kind of like to see that, right? Like, look, she wants that win so bad.
Pumping those turns, increasing the momentum. You get your braking points early and you accelerate through the turn. Maximum traction. That's where she got a little nose heavy. Kind of fell off of that drop. Looked like she was under rear braking as the front wheel came off the rock and almost went over, but was able to hold on. I think every push-up she's ever done in her life paid off. One less push-up in her life, she might not have held on to that.
That was a lot of force right there, absorbed by the fork, but also the upper body strength. All right, one rider left to go, your #1 qualifier, Gracey Hemstreet. We chatted with her after her seating run. She had this to say.
The whole track's pretty challenging, but it's drying up nicely, so it's getting less sketchy as the time goes on. So yeah, no, it's just super fun. And yeah, I won't come to like a complete stop, and yeah, I'll just go faster.
That quote right there, Alan, you know, she's, the context of that conversation, she's speaking about her seating run. She seated first, but she's saying, yeah, in the finals, I'm gonna do my best to not come to a complete stop. So, does she have more in the tank? Can she knock Aletha Ostgaard out of that top spot? The first rider we've seen in the green is split #1 right now, Gracey Hemstreet, ahead by just under a half a second.
Yeah, the times have increased over seating, so we know the time is out there. Gracey also, you know, letting us in. She might have had a little stall in there, looking good off that rock drops. You can tell just by looking at it. Her momentum is really, really strong through here. Gets the nose down, getting the pump, keeping it tight, straight back on the pedals. Gracey doing exactly what she needs to do. You could hear her talking about how sketchy this track was, but right now it's full throttle, off the rock, gaps into the chute, just misses the tree. It's terminal velocity through the rock garden right there.
Gracey Hemstreet not messing around.
So committed to the line.
All greens here in split #2.
She's got 2 seconds right now. These turns are so important before the flat sections. You need to be absolutely pinpoint perfect and carry your momentum from one berm to the next and through the flat sections. It's so deceiving through there.
Well, your current leader had issues in seating. We just learned that Gracey Hemstreet also had issues in seating despite seating 5.5 seconds faster than the rest of the field. She has an extra gear, and she's clicked into it right here.
A little bit of a wobble out of the berm right there, but looks so good up top.
So much style considering she's in the middle of a race run.
That little wobble, you know, that's gonna be maybe a 1/2 tenth, but you know, it's gonna compound through that whole pedal section. So we'll see if she can carry that momentum. She's definitely gonna put the pedal to the metal. She loses the front end and into the tree.
With only 2 seconds to play with, she's gonna have to back it up and get untangled.
That was a hard impact. Luckily there was a tree pad, but man, it's not the hit, it's how fast you stop.
Oh man. Wow, that's the double-edged sword of pushing that hard.
Catching her breath right there. Definitely a big impact for Gracey Hemstreet. I'm happy to see her back on the bike.
I'm also happy to see that she ended up into a pad as well. If she got ejected and sent into the rock garden, it would have been many more than just one impact into a pad. Multiple impacts into rocks and trees.
Yeah, the tree was no doubt the lesser of two evils right there.
Ah, Gracey, this was hers.
But you know what that means, Cam.
The U.S. Junior National Champion Aletha Ostgaard gets to bask in the glory right now as she takes the win in the Specialized Canadian Open downhill.
We talk about the Canadian Open in that open format, giving the platform for these Cinderella stories. A crash is not what you want to see, but to see a junior take the win here today, that's exactly what we were talking about.
That's what this race is all about. Not necessarily, you know, hoping that one rider over another wins, but just making that possibility available for a junior racer to come out here and just shake things up, show what they have against the top riders in the elite field. Yeah, I feel like Aletha, it took a little bit for it to set in as she was watching that screen and went, wait a minute. She was up by 2 seconds and now she's completely stalled on course. I got this.
I'm waiting to see a leaderboard.
See these riders concerned about each other out here. Such a camaraderie in the sport. Let's take a look back at that race-winning run right there from Aletha. Just attacked from the top. Really was pinpoint perfect. Had her tires on the backside. Really physical and active on the bike, carrying the momentum through all of those rough sections. Looking so good off the drop. Catching the backside up high. So important to have that momentum. Just grinding the watts right there through the flat sections. Giving in to the terminal velocity, just focusing on her line.
I mean, it kind of feels like there's no way to win this race other than, you know, be on the edge a bit. Even Aletha, looking at this run right here, there was a couple moments where, you know, there's some recoveries. Hey, Aletha's hanging out with us right now. Oh my goodness, Aletha, take a look at that screen right there. This was the moment you crossed the finish line fastest. I gotta ask you, when you were looking at that screen and you just saw Gracey plow into that, you know, padded tree, did it take you a second to realize, like, oh my God, she's not gonna get back on track in time. I got this win.
No, I was more worried because it looked like she slammed that tree really hard on her like hip, leg, and she was grabbing it. So I was really worried about that. I'm just happy she made it down and she's not like crying in pain or anything like that. I hope she's good. But I am stoked on the win. I think she totally had it. I think the Canadian deserved that win, but that's racing, and I'm just happy we all made it down safe.
That is racing. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, on the way down that run, did you think that was going to put you in the hot seat? Did it feel like that run that you were looking for?
I'd say this track feels, it's like hard to actually feel like if it's going to be a winning run or not because it's so long. You can make up so much time so quickly, just like my second split. But I think that just having a consistent, and like you said, being on that edge and making sure you don't push too hard where you have those crashes, but just playing it safe and hitting all your marks.
What's it like to be a junior but be able to just sign up and seed against the elites and just, you know, give it your best shot and see what happens?
I think as a young age, I always had really high expectations for myself, so I always compared myself to elites. So being able to race the elites just have felt like, yes, I'm stoked that I finally can be here when I dreamed of doing it as a kid. So it definitely feels really, really good racing Gracey, even hanging out with her at World Cups and all that. She's so, like, she inspires me every day.
Well, congratulations. I'm looking over your shoulder at a gold medal right there. That is yours, ladies and gentlemen. Make some noise for Aletha Ostgaard taking the win out here.
Thank you, guys.
Presenting the gold medal here, Celeste Bergoni.
She's pretty
from
calm
Vall
for
Resort.
pretty calm for what just happened right there.
I know, she's so chill. The future is very bright for Aletha, that's for sure. As we take a look right now at our final results, that's why, you know, when she crossed the finish line, we were so curious. How did she come from such a low seeding and obliterate the rest of the field? You know, an issue in seeding can mean a Cinderella story. Doesn't have to be a youngster coming from the junior categories to take the win. We've got a few in our men's field as well who had issues in practice. We're excited to see how that plays out as we get our top 20 racers about ready to drop into the course now for the men, but Eliana Hulsebosch and Matilda Melton rounding out that podium alongside Ostgaard.
Yeah, we see some big names that were not in the broadcast as well. Definitely a stacked field out here today. Specialized Canadian Open DH.
Well, plenty of racing left to come. Men's category coming up after the break. Stick with us. This downhill race is brought to you by Specialized. And by Whistler Mountain Bike Park.
These are the moments, chasing that feeling. It's just you and the trail. The trees speed up, time slows down. You have no regrets that you called in sick. Specialized Canadian Open downhill on the iconic 1199 racetrack. Just wrapped up the elite women's field, and what a race it was, but we are far from over. We got the top 20 racers for the men from yesterday's seeding. It's gonna be a big show, man. We got some big names out there, but if the women's category was any indication, do not count out those underdogs.
Oh man, it's going to be so good. We do have a few juniors in the men's category as well, seated and ready to go. Everyone was looking so good on track yesterday, and there was definitely some like sketchy spots on track that you had to check up, you know, be safe, but today it's full throttle.
Richie Root holding down that hot seat right now.
Yeah, so good to see Richie, some full form out here on the downhill course. Like you were saying, he was like my shoulders, my elbow, but he's giving it everything and sitting in that hot seat.
And we heard how loud this Whistler crowd got for their Canadian racers. And we got some big Canadian racers in there today. Most notably, Jackson Goldstone will be racing this 1199 track for the first time in the elite field somehow. So, you know, that's going to be an exciting one for the fans, you know, whether they're lining the course or they're sitting in the booth like us or they're like you sitting on your couch.
Yeah, it's filling in, and I can guarantee you they're going to get loud for the Jewett brothers. You know that battle is going to go through from beginning to end. They're going to be up there psyching each other up, you know, doing their thing. It's going to be an exciting day.
There's this one technical section we have a camera angle of on course that we keep talking about. Are they going left? Are they going right? Let's break down the two different options here and why you may see the riders choosing one over the other, Alan.
Yeah, it really comes into physicality right here. This inside line we were looking at, that's, you know, if you're looking a little heavy and you're not really sure, you know, you're fatigued in the arms, that inside line's much better. But that outside right there, you actually gap from the root ball into the rock garden and rail the turn right there. That is the preferred line, but you have to be fit and ready for that. And then we look here. We've talked about it, the S turns. There's no insiding right here. There's no taking a shorter line. You need to carry your momentum around the outsides of these berms and rail it in, because that's going straight into those flat zones. So around these turns is going to be the fastest way. It's longer, but carrying that momentum into those flat sections, it's what's going to make the difference.
Yeah, we've definitely seen that play out in the split times
in the elite women's final. When we see one little mistake in terms of slingshotting out of a berm or making a triple leading into those flat sections, you think of the personality of this race course being so much about the steep and technical aspect and the big sends. But those flat sections, if you don't carry speed into them, you're just letting that time slip away.
Yeah, and sometimes the aggression that you bring into those zones can totally work against you.
Let's take a look at the start list for our top 20 men from seeding. First rider we're going to see dropping in, Jed Stanton, and then Gabriel Neron. Now, Camden Rutherfurd won the U19, so keep an eye on him for our underdog Cinderella story. Then some big names shining on this page. Asa Vermette, Jackson, Goldstone. Come on, are you not entertained?
Yeah, Jack Menzies, the current downhill champ right there.
Canadian national champion, Jack Menzies, for sure. We got Johnathan Helly qualifying in 4th right there. Another opportunity for a Cinderella story. The Kamloops kid picking up some wins at smaller events throughout the summer so far. But let's get underway as we see our number 20 rider from seeding in the start hut right now, Jed Stanton, one of the co-founders of Raw Racing. He's taken a 3rd on the Australian National Race Series so far this year. Here he is.
Looking real good on those upper sections right there. Kind of gapping through the turns, keeping his line perfect. Yeah, when there's not a team, what do? You create a team. Do the work on both sides of the fence. So cool to see Jed out here. That lucky number 69 right now on our 20th seed. Looking composed and smooth. You see him gapping in, catching those back sides. Looking on that sector map, he's only 1 second behind Richie, so we've seen some big gaps. Those different opportunities there. We see him go off the rock, kind of more on that inside line, railing through, looking smooth. You can see how he's kind of anticipating all of the rollers and all of the bumps. That's going to be so much less effort. It's not an impact. He's riding through them, using them to his advantage.
You saw him push out of that corner as well, the same way you would in a pump track or a slalom course, but in the middle of a technical rock section that has a corner, to push off and generate speed using your legs out of there. Shows the ability to just take those skills to the tech terrain.
Yeah, it shows me that Jed's, he's on point right now. His braking zones are where he needs to be. They're early enough to where he's accelerating through the turn. Look at all of that traction, completely off the brakes.
Yeah, a long table that's hard to clear, but going fast enough to where he can squash, stay low.
Coming into this first little crowded heckle section. It's so loose right there.
That compression is wild. You're cornering.
Coming back onto the piste. In through the crowd. This rock section is so important. You see him getting to the outside, trying to carry that momentum into these new bottom berms. Straight through the rail.
Rut developing there in that final right-hand berm.
Mainline and pray.
Not bad right there for Jed Stanton. A 3:24, 3 seconds back, putting him just outside the top 3. Lucas Shaw holding down 2nd. Seth Sherlock, local boy, holding down 3rd. And there is your man with the fastest time so far, Richie Rude, breaking down the run with Jed there.
See him here in the middle section. Legs are fresh. You see him pumping up into that gap right there, dropping it in. Has that vision. He can see momentum on the track like he's Jet Lawrence. Just making everything as smooth as possible.
That's interesting though right now. Our first rider we've seen in our top 20 from seeding, just a really good aggressive run without any visible errors and still not moving into the hot seat. Just goes to show how fast that run was from Richie Rude. And we mentioned earlier, we spoke with him after his finals run and he said, yeah, I crashed in seeding. That's why I was dropping so early. And Lucas Shaw, same thing, issues in seeding. He's sitting in 2nd place.
Yeah, if there's a pedal section on the track, Richie Rude is going to be contending.
Well, the 2022 Canadian national champ Gabriel Neron in the gate right now. Grown up in Quebec, currently lives in Squamish. He's had a BC Cup win this season already too.
Yeah, Gabriel, a bigger rider right there. Definitely using that weight to his advantage. Pumping those rollers for everything that they've got. Gabriel's one of those riders that has the opportunity to really stake his claim up against some of the fastest, biggest names in the sport. Really tucks that turn nice and smooth out there. Doing really good at picking out the smoothest parts of the track. Less is more when it comes to those impacts. Sometimes you can get aggressive and just try to push through them, but there's no way you can do that from top to bottom here.
Yeah, not wasting any energy here. You just see him pumping those transitions, sitting down into a tuck.
And then we see the first rider rail that outside. You can see the big rock drops, the commitment, but you can also see the momentum that he carries.
That was a dice roll. He was so leaned in that compression.
On paper, that route is the right one, but it is such a commitment.
Yeah, you're 2.5 seconds almost into the run as well. Starting to slowly feel that fatigue build up. Ooh, outside.
Yeah, really high up on that berm, cutting down early. That momentum's gonna carry through that flat section just like he wants. Staying composed through that little flat turn drop into this bottom rock section. Railing the turn right there, not leaving much left for the competitors.
Yeah, see you later, berm. Yeah, dropping sticks of dynamite for the rest of the riders.
Gapping into this section, looking really, really strong. You can kind of see him standing up, locking his knees a little bit. You can tell the fatigue is really starting to kick in.
Little rally turn setup.
This is when the heart rate starts to go through the roof. Nice little outside line right there. He squared up that turn.
Yeah, you want to stay low on that left-hand berm, we learned.
Yeah, definitely.
Look how rutted this one's getting.
Main line and pray.
Main line with confidence, baby. Gabriel Neron through the line with a manual into 9th place, 6.7 seconds back.
Dropping him into 9th position.
Hey, guess what? This would be a treat if we could watch some footage of that leading run right now from Richie Rude. Wouldn't that be nice?
It would be like a dream.
Okay, I got a surprise for you. Let's do it. Richie Rude. I mean, I pull up a chair and make some popcorn anytime Richie Rude is on course. I'm so stoked to watch this. This is the first time Alan and I are seeing this as well. Ooh,
Yeah,
look, he comes off the side, scrubs it.
Yeah, making the jump as small as possible, going through the rock if you possibly could, catching that full backside.
It's like a second transition off of that ladder bridge drop too, deep down the transition.
Yeah, Richie was talking about a crash in the qualifying run and then just kind of shut it down, but totally healthy pushing here.
Yeah, look at him roost that low pocket on that left berm. Richie Rude.
See Lucas Shaw there. Also having a great season, getting his first win on the World Cup. He's been on the precipice for so long. Finally made it.
Okay, let's set the stage for this young man right here, 17 years of age. I keep doing that. He won the U19 on this course yesterday. He's trying his hand in the elites. He won air downhill already this week. He's scrubbing off the rock already. This kid is an animal. He always enters the whip off. One of the most aggressive riders in the field. It's so cool to see him in the elites right now.
Yeah, you can see the power wheelie out of the turn. The BMX is definitely flowing out of what we're seeing on the track right here. Grew up racing BMX. Once you kind of master that smaller bike, you get on these bigger bikes, man, just kind of opens things up. You see him slide around that turn right there.
This is classic Camden Rutherfurd right now. Go follow him on Instagram. You won't be disappointed. Look at that.
Possibly the sickest whips on course that we'll see today.
Look at the lean. He gets that little counter steer lean.
Yeah, this guy can ride a bike right there, railing that outside turn, carrying that momentum, hops that rock and catches backside.
No! Oh, I was just gonna say he's so light on the bike, but he found a wall there, a hole he wasn't able to hover over.
Yeah, looked like he could have got just a little bit wide offline. He was so smooth going so fast. I guarantee that was the fastest he went into that section all week long.
Yeah, I think he found the limit of how fast you can go through that section. He's got that Jackson Goldstone lean thing going on. You know what I'm talking about? That upper body lean.
Yeah, he's a smaller rider himself, Camden. It's one of the benefits when you're a little bit lighter rider. The gravity doesn't affect you quite as much. Get that lean angle a little bit stronger. You can slow down a little bit faster.
I mean, obviously we couldn't see in great detail how hard he hit the ground, but look, jeez.
Did I say something about whips?
There's no way it could have been a mellow fall, though, and he got up so quick, and he's obviously doesn't appear to be feeling any pain. But we've seen him hit the ground so hard. Last year in whip-off, landed 90, got pitched to flat.
Yeah, had a one-way ticket on one of the biggest jumps in the boneyard. Right here, you can see how smooth and composed he is. It would have been awesome to be able to see him pull a full run right there, but
for another day, he's still in the lesson learning phase of his downhill racing career. And after taking the win in the U19 category, this is a nice little exhibition to just give it a whirl here in the elites. Coming in inside for a little slap. Yep. Well, already looking forward to the next time we get to see Camden Rutherfurd drop into a downhill course. Great to see him getting some support this year.
It's not even dirty. Did he even hit the ground?
Maybe he's a magician.
Take a look back at some of the highlights. You can see staying low and steezy. Straight back on the horsepower, monitoring his energy, making sure he's not pedaling in the air. And look at how fast he comes in right here. Looks like he goes a little bit wide, Ryder's left, and something totally caught his front tire. Didn't see that one coming. Glad he's okay after that.
Brutal. But yeah, he was hovering so nicely right before that, just skipping all those holes. Yeah, I mean, that's like the next level of downhill racing skills, is when you can kind of turn those tech sections into pump tracks. But man, if you get off rhythm, it's almost like watching Supercross when they find their way into the bowls of those whoop sections.
Yeah, I'm no mathematician, but those mistakes tend to add up.
Well, the BC regional champ right here, Henry Sherry, the 17th qualifier dropping in.
Cut his teeth out on Mount Prevost, just like Stevie Smith. So you know he can feel that vibe right now, that 11.99 vibe, out in front of all of the Canadian fans.
Saw Tiana Smith floating around the venue out here earlier, Stevie Smith's mom. It's so cool, she comes out and cheers on the racers that she sees out at Mount Prevost, training for the season for big moments like this.
Henry looking super smooth right now, effortless. Definitely conserving some energy, but still going super fast right now. You know, these riders, everyone has that like kind of breakout moment where you sort of see what potential, what level they can be at. That was last year in 2025 at the Elite National Championships. Silver medal, but only by 0.034. So he has the speed.
And he's only 0.28 back. There we go, second split. He is 0.24 up.
Could this be another statement right here for Henry Sherry?
Got a race on our hands as he roosts through that left-hander.
See him railing that turn right there, coming into this section. You can kind of see how he comes in screen with his tires off the ground. That's showing me he's carrying that momentum just above.
Richie Rude calmly standing by, viewing the screen.
Looking good over that tail, had enough speed. He actually had a little bit of a scrub. Straight back on the pedals through the flat bottom. Coming down this section, staying high, crossing the trail, staying high again, carrying the momentum through the bottom. Can he carry that 0.2 lead through to the finish? I can't pinpoint anything wrong right there. Maybe a little bit of a low side. Keeping his momentum up, pumping the rollers. He's got energy to spare. Slashes that turn. Looks like it's getting a little windy.
There we go. He was green at the splits, but by a blink of an eye, and it's going to be enough by 0.02 of a second. Henry Sherry into the lead.
Now it's half a blink of an eye. Wow, what a run.
Wow.
You could tell on the top, I don't know if he was just being conservative, but his line choice was definitely on the smooth side, which left him with enough energy to really lay it down in those middle and lower sectors. A perfectly timed run right there for the fitness he had in the tank. Gets on the brakes, gets outside right there, stays high. This right here, Cam, watch how low he stays on this table. One of the only riders with enough speed to actually have to scrub and push down through there. You can tell he had more momentum, just able to carry that all the way to the bottom.
Henry Sherry, what's up? Congratulations, moving into that hot seat by, we decided it was a half a blink of an eye, 0.02 of a second. How did that run compare to your seating?
Went past in a blink of an eye. The seating did not. Yeah.
Well, congratulations, man. You get cozy right there next to Richie Rude. That's an accomplishment anytime you can knock Richie Rude out of a hot seat, right?
It is. Feels good.
Congrats, man. Go get a seat.
Thank you.
Well, the Canadian takes over that top spot. Right now you hear the crowd out there loving what they're seeing as we get our view right now on screen of Benny Deavoll, next rider taken to this course. He's already won a Northwest Cup at Port Angeles this year. A local, Whistler local, grown up out here in the trails of the Whistler Bike Park and beyond.
Yeah, definitely a product of the environment right here and his family. His dad, a World Cup racer in the early 2000s, so he knows what it takes. Definitely has the guidance that he needs.
So crazy seeing these kids that we've watched for years and years and years starting out on run bikes and then 20 inches and now in the elite ranks. Benny Deavoll.
A little bit hesitant through that upper rock section. Looked like he kind of got stuck in between whether he was going to go over or to that rider's right line. Back by 2.3 right now, but plenty of track to make that up from here.
Yeah, Henry Sherry's going to have to be loving seeing that.
Right there, skipping down
for Benny.
Enters that turn nice and smooth. So deceiving how slippery that entry is. Railing the turn, staying a little low. Another scrub right there, so we have momentum on his side.
Consistent gap here at the splits. 2.37 back.
Gliding right there, almost loses the back end right there.
See if he can find some magic.
I feel like at the bottom right here, there's gonna be a lot of time to be made up right there. He definitely looks smooth as he exits that turn, straight back on the pedals, getting pump off the rollers, nailing that bottom turn. See what the time comes in at and where he lands. Fourth place right there, 2.3 back.
Benny Deavoll slotting in just outside the podium contention so far. Lucas Shaw still holding on to that third place. Richie Rude bumped to second after we just saw Henry Sherry, the BC regional champ, taking over.
Henry still catching his breath after that amazing run.
Yeah, pretty cool to see the locals out here as well. Next rider we'll see warming up in the start hut. Another local. We see him in the whip-offs traditionally. Jake Polito should be warming up at the top.
Yeah, the whip-off, one of the funnest events out here at Crankworx. Just that style element that you can't teach. It's just inside. You get to see these artists paint the canvas in the air.
There's nothing like a downhill race right here. The clock does not lie. And some of the riders we have yet to come. Tegan Cruz, Asa Vermette, Jackson Goldstone, #1 qualifier Dane Jewett. But right now it's all about Jake Polito, the winner of the 2023 Air DH here at Crankworx Whistler, is on course.
Looking aggressive up top, pumping those turns for everything they got. Goes long, so shows some momentum. Getting some pedals through that section. This track is so tuned up. The crew here at Whistler did such a good job. They cut a lot back, widened things up, made those sight lines bigger. Qualifying fastest times was already over last year's previous race winning time. Jake Polito gapping into that turn.
I like that hop.
Scrubbing off that drop. Looks to be carrying his momentum really, really well. It's getting a little bit windy. Yeah, he's in the green right there. It's getting a little bit windy down here at the bottom. Let's hope it's not across the piece there.
So true. If that wind happens to be headwind in those flat sections, it could be a game changer.
Polito taking that middle run off that rock. Looking really good right now.
Ooh, slipping back just a touch. Back by 1/10 of a second there at split #2. Very much within reach of that time, though, from Henry Sherry. Time to beat A 321.7.
Comes into screen with his tires off the air. That shows me momentum. Hitting his braking points perfect, staying high, squaring up this turn into the chute. Got that back end swimming around like a fish.
No, maybe too much.
Like a trout right there coming through the chute. I think he's got a flat.
Yeah. Yeah, it goes from, all right, that's pretty fun to watch. He's pushing the rear end to, that rear tire has no air in it.
Yeah, that back end was dancing like a trout swimming upriver.
He was in touch too.
So lucky to save that through that section.
Bye-bye, rear wheel. Oh, well, that's kind of fun to watch. Yep, plenty of opportunities for flat tires out there. Got a desk fully made of wood right here I'm gonna knock on, but this is the first flat tire we've seen all day today. Hopefully the rest of the riders able to avoid those square edges, but Jake Polito within touch comes to a screeching halt there with the flat tire, back by almost 20 seconds. On to the next.
Yeah, flat tire there. Could have been anything. Could have been one of the rocks or many roots. Could have been really pushing that compromise behind traction and durability. Less
right
air
there.
you have. Yeah, you see it swimming around and there's just nothing left. It's always a compromise how low you can go to increase traction versus getting a pinch flat or breaking a rim.
Well, another one of the riders who had issues in seating also happens to be the most decorated rider when it comes to our Specialized Canadian Open downhill right here on the 1199 racetrack. Our next rider to take to the track will be the 14th rider from seating, Jakob Jewett. One in 2023, one in 2024. His little brother Dane is the #1 qualifier. Jake had a crash in seating. Let's see if he can make a statement here in the finals.
Jakob absolutely knows what it takes right here. I think we're gonna see a super aggressive run, showing me exactly that off of the top. Staying high in that turn, nice line right there. Able to carry his momentum, catch the backsides. It's looking perfect so far. I know we're just at the top, but that's what it takes. You get that foundation of your run and the momentum, you just can't slow it down.
Oh, yeah.
Gliding up, staying high, bouncing into these turns, looking really good. Almost jumps through that lip.
Downhill racing is such a mental sport. And Jakob Jewett really mentally strong right now. Speaking with his dad, Scott, Jakob coming off of a shoulder reconstruction. Here we go, 0.7 ahead in split #1. But he had that crash in seating. And his dad said, you know what? He actually was more confident after that because he was like, hey, I know my shoulder can hold up right now. I'm gonna go for it in finals.
Yeah, takes that outside line, railing that turn up 2.4 right there. He was fully committed, so you can tell he's confidence in his fitness. He's confidence in his shoulder is there.
A little grin spreads across the face of Henry Sherry as he sees Jakob Jewett about 2.5 seconds into the green.
Yeah,
this is awesome.
Going so fast. He's having to push down off of those flat drops, gapping through this section like there's a lily pad, staying low, keeping momentum. Massive scrub, straight back on. He's up 4.4. So this is the run he's looking for.
Oh, yeah. Jakob Jewett saying, hey, I'm the guy who wins this race. I don't care what happened in seating. I'm going for it.
Yeah, railing his turn, looking composed. He's got the energy he needs. This is that all-important final section where it's tech. He's bouncing through. Broke out a little bit, that rear end broke out loose, but he's holding it together. Inside line slashes right there.
Yeah, you know what? I think that'll do right there. By 4.9 seconds, Jakob Jewett into the hot seat.
Extending his lead through each sector of this 1199 course. Like we said, Jakob knew exactly what it took. You know, Dane's at the top, he's happy, but right now needs to shift his perspective into what he's got to do. Look at this line around the outside, Cam. Using this, like I said before, gravitational pull, keeping that momentum on, railing around the outside. You see how smooth it is. It's the longer way around, but you can stay off the brakes, you can take a breath, and you can carry that momentum into these bottom sections. slashing that lip straight back on the pedals, looking so composed, no head bobble whatsoever.
Jakob Jewett, the man when it comes to this race. Issues in seating, now you just dropped the hammer. I watched you cross the finish line, look up at the screen, see that 316. I think I saw you shake your head a little bit. How was the run?
Yeah, it was a bit looser than I wanted to. I felt really good, like really dialed in practice this morning. Yeah, I had a couple of moments in there for sure, but I mean, it's gonna happen when you're pushing.
Yeah, I mean, you're coming off of a big shoulder reconstruction. How's that shoulder feeling? You're looking so confident out there on the bike.
Yeah, it's good. It's like, honestly, the shoulder's been mint for quite a while. It's just getting the confidence back on the bike and just starting to feel like myself again now. So, yeah, I'm happy to put down a good run here.
So fun to watch. Thank you for the show. Great to have you in the hot seat. Let's see how long it lasts.
Already with Ryan Griffith on course. Canadian rider, went viral hitting crabapple hits at 10 years old, so you know he is familiar with this mountain and this territory.
Yeah, we're into the era now where you're seeing those crazy viral clip 10-year-olds come into their own as adults. And let's see what the story will be here today for Ryan Griffith, just back by 0.4 at split number 1.
Earlier this year, winning the Sorka Cup, one up DH. So he's got the speed. There was a lot of fast riders in that race. Looks like we see someone on the track there, Medic, getting out of the way. Will he choose that fast left, more dangerous line? Only 0.4 back on that first split, but it's taken a while to get him on camera.
Hey, you know how I know Jakob was pushing? The fact that that entire interview was done in breath. There was less words than there were breaths.
Yeah, I didn't understand the first like 5 words.
It just, he laid it all out there on the track. Love to see it. Oh man, the crowd is filling in here on the 1199. Oh no, Ryan Griffith without rear tire. I mean, I knocked on the wooden desk, Alan. Is this my fault? Did I do this flat tire?
The announcer's curse can get anybody.
We're doing a little rim R&D right now.
Yeah, how's he gonna get down? This is gonna be sketchy.
I know, that's like a long track. Got a lot of track to go here with full metal to dirt contact.
Yeah, had a tough couple of years with injury. Some things kind of lingering and running into each other, but able to be back fully healthy. Really setting his standard back up to where he's used to. Back in form for 26. Unfortunately, just getting a flat or ripping that tire off.
Oh, we didn't ask Jakob what he thought about his brother sitting in the #1 seating spot. Maybe we'll get a chance to talk with him later. Yeah, here we go. Ryan saying, I'm not riding this drop without a tire. Smart. So many accessories, the tire, the insert.
So that route that he took around it,
Oh, that's it.
When he goes around those drops, the juniors had to do that.
Oh, true.
And our fastest qualifying junior in seating, he had to go around those, but he was still fast enough to have qualified. Had to do it again and qualified. So here we go for him. That's his opportunity. He's all the way down number 10th qualifier, so we'll be seeing him a little bit later.
We're going to be looking forward to that.
To have to go around those and still have that time.
Yeah, no question. Going around it is not faster.
So a quick recap while Ryan's making his way off the track. Tayte Jewett sitting on top on 4.91.
Well, next up, we're going to have our reigning Canadian national downhill champion. Take a look at the sleeve right there. Proudly flying the maple leaf flag, Jack Menzies. Let's see what he's got.
Jack Menzies looking really strong, scrubbing off the top of that rock, able to carry that momentum through the obstacle, not land flat, saving energy. It's what it takes to give it a full pull. You have to be so precise in conserving your energy and hitting those lines, carrying that momentum around. See if you can stay high off of those roots. Looking really good, nice and light on the bike. straight into this Stevie Smith drop, pumping the bottom. That roller is so tough to stay on the ground.
I mean, we see a lot of riders into a speed tuck right there. Jack Menzies in full stand-up sprint.
Yeah, he's heading outside. He's railing, looking really, really strong, carrying that momentum through. Takes a nice inside into the next turn.
Ah, back by so much, 9.6 there, despite looking so strong in that tech section.
Railing those turns, trying to build that speed, trying to spool it up for this little flat section. Carry it back into the woods. Oh, gets a little bit loose and offline right there, able to recorrect, just dodging that tree. He's still recovering.
I was gonna say, chain
all
reaction.
the way through that section. That's that terminal velocity I talked about. By the time he was out of shape, there was no slowing down, just holding on. So unfortunately, probably gonna bleed more time.
Yeah, I mean, that mistake followed him. The chain reaction through the entire rest of that section. Jack Menzies keeping her loose.
Definitely.
Dust cloud.
Definitely keeping it exciting, brushing his shoulder off that pad, using every inch of the track.
Well, we're going to get behind the Canadian champ, Jack Menzies, into the finish.
There we go, the crowd getting loud for their current Canadian national downhill champion. Not his day today, into 18th place for Jack Menzies.
Our next rider would love to join his teammates on the hot seat in one way or another.
Oh yeah.
Tyler Waite.
Good week already for Tyler Waite, a third in the air downhill. Yeah, that was the end of that section where he was recovering from that one minor error, and it kind of followed him through the whole rest, led him to not have speed to clear that table as well.
And the mental side, when that mistake happens early on in the turn like that, you can feel it. You know you're losing time. You can feel yourself slowing down. Heart rate goes through the roof.
So your 11th place qualifier right now, the youngster, 19 years old, Tyler Waite, carrying a lot of momentum already this season.
Yeah, full Kiwi style, no gloves, diving straight into this gnarly upper section. Tyler from Hawke's Bay, New Zealand. Might sound familiar. Have you heard of Brooke McDonald? Shout out to Brooke, bringing up that younger generation. Tyler Waite holding his own out on the World Cup. Solid, consistent finishes all year long.
Top 5 as well, so definitely a formative year right here for the young Tyler Waite.
One of the riders coming out of the junior category, kind of undercover. You know, he was a junior with Asa Vermette, as well as the Alram brothers, but he was always right there, battling in the mix. Just like today, 0.288 up. Taking that more conservative line, but making it work, kind of combining them at the bottom.
What?
Goes inside and hops the rock to the outside and carries that momentum. Super creative line. He's bled a little bit of time, 1.3 back, but man, that was such a sick line.
Yeah, I mean, losing a little bit of time compared to Jakob, but
inside there, haven't seen that yet.
He's got all kinds of tricks up his sleeve. He had that nose bonk on the rock, the dive inside there to that left-hander.
Super creative riding out here on this 1199 course. He's in touch, 1.3 back.
But also maybe some of these unorthodox decisions here for different lines, wondering if they're faster or not, but it's fun to see him experimenting.
Saw him trying to get as wide as possible at the bottom of that last chute, going through the bushes. Dropping in this section right here. There's no slowing down. Once you're in, and he's committed.
I mean, there's plenty of room between first and second here as far as the times go. 4.9 between Jakob and Henry. Tyler Waite definitely in contention to move into that second place spot if he can keep the consistency meter rolling.
Yeah, getting a little heavy in the front, and you see his head getting in front of the stem a little bit. Might be fatiguing, but he's going to leave it all out on the course, pedaling to the line.
Oh, lead a bit more there toward the bottom. 5.1 back into 4th place for Tyler Waite.
Tyler Waite with some of the most creative lines we've seen on course.
And then there were 10. We are into our top 10 from seeding. And no surprises here. If we were to be scripting this thing and making our predictions, I think we would have imagined that perhaps Jakob Jewett would be sitting in the hot seat right now as we enter our final 10 racers here in the Specialized Canadian Open downhill on the legendary 1199 track, a track where Jakob Jewett has won twice before. Back in 23, back in 24. Here's a look back at his run that landed him in the hot seat currently.
Yeah, super powerful. One of the most physically strong riders on the circuit.
Oh, did you see him square that off?
Yeah, squared it off, pumped the backside of that little drop. You see him gapping and airing through. He's in the air, but he's also kind of floating over all those bumps, just keeping his momentum going. And look at the power he has out of that final turn. You're so fatigued in that point, but he's still got some in the tank. Let's see if he can make it happen. Awesome week.
That was the little shrug. He goes 316. I think I had better than that.
Awesome week for the Giant Factory Racing team.
Absolutely. Man, it's going to be so fun to see how long that 316 holds up. A look at our current leaderboard right now. Got Jakob Jewett leading the charge there at the top. Richie Rude still holding on to podium position in 3rd. Henry Sherry in 2nd place. But big names, I mean, read them. Tegan Cruz, Asa Vermette, Michael Delesalle, Dane Jewett, the #1 qualifier. Somebody by the name of Jackson Goldstone, I feel like that sounds familiar. We're gonna get to see him race today. I think the crowd might get loud for that.
Yeah, the syndicate rider Andreas Kolb from Austria. I mean, it's a stacked field.
Come on, this is gonna rule. Top 10 riders coming up after the break. Stick with us. This downhill race is brought to you by Specialized. And by Whistler Mountain Bike Park.
These are the moments, chasing that feeling. It's just you and the trail. The trees speed up, time slows down. You have no regrets that you called in sick.
All right, just about time to drop our top 10 riders in our men's field, but we got a nice guest here. How lucky are we? We got Eliana Hulsebosch hanging out in the booth right now. She just placed 3rd, and I want to talk to you about this track. You're racing all over the world. How does this one stack up compared to all the rest?
Yeah, I would say it's a mix between Le Tuile, Delesalle, and Chambéry, and I can confirm that I would way rather ride Delesalle than this one. It's a mix of all the gnarliest parts of those tracks. It's an amazing World Cup track, so I'm really excited that we get the opportunity to race on it.
That really says something. Comparing this track to Val d'Isole is like quite a testament. What's it like with these Canadian fans out here screaming for you in the woods? They're always full of that energy, that Crankworx energy, aren't they?
Man, they are so sick. It is unreal. The fans honestly make the races, so the fact that they're so passionate is like something so special and amazing. So yeah, thanks guys.
Yeah, walk us through this run. Tell us if there's any highlights, any points that you had that were mistakes, or what was really your benefit to get there on the podium.
I feel like it wasn't one of my best runs. Yeah, that was a big, big mistake, but thankfully I go to the gym, so held on to it. I'd say you need a lot of patience on this track. It was hard to judge how hard I needed to push and go, but we're kind of just here scoping it out, building a foundation. I know that one thing I learned was that it's hard to push here.
Yeah, knowing where to push, saving your energy for when you need it. Yeah, super well done.
So that's a massive, I think it'll be a massive advantage knowing those things.
Well, your work for the day is done. You get to just join the rest of us here with the party and watch the top 10 men. Congratulations on grabbing the bronze medal.
Thank you guys heaps. Cheers.
All right, let's take a look at the start list for the men right now with 10 riders left to go. Thank you so much. Yeah. 10 riders left to go. Everything is going to culminate with the #1 qualifier, Dane Jewett, dropping in right now his brother in the hot seat. And we saw that with the elite women's field as well, the Ostgaard sisters. It's kind of fun to see a similar scenario playing out right now with the Jewett boys.
Yeah, definitely. The crowd has filled in to see these riders push their limits. Crowded at the bottom, and we can see on screen there's tons of people up in the hills. Such an awesome opportunity to see these riders face off against each other, especially in this open format.
I'm going to keep my eye on that Johnathan Helly as well right there. That #4 rider from seeding is definitely, I think, the one that could potentially pitch a curveball out here and give us that underdog story.
Yeah, it's hard to take
impressive seeding.
It's hard to take anything away from those 10 riders. I mean, even Ryder Wilson right there, you know, he's Canadian, he's from around this place, so he's really looking to lay his claim and be a part of this group of people. He doesn't want to be the new face, you know.
Have we talked about the travel day for Asa Vermette getting here and how little practice he had before a seeding run? Because that's going to play into our story as well.
Yeah, definitely. Ended up on a little prop plane. I guess his flight was delayed and then canceled, which culminated in a night spent in the airport, and then got buzzed up on somebody's Cessna. I don't have all the details, but planes, trains, and automobiles type situation.
Yeah, if we end up getting a chat with him on the microphone out here, we'll ask, because he posted a cryptic little Instagram story of him in a Cessna saying, I guess after my flight was canceled, this is how I'm making it to Whistler. But that could be a reason why he didn't have one of the top times in seeding, minimal practice. But right now, Ryder Wilson, you were talking about him earlier, Alan.
Yeah, Ryder Wilson, born in Vancouver Island, growing up, inspired by Stevie Smith. He's credited to saying Stevie Smith is his biggest inspiration. Actually, he came from motocross, so these speeds and these big jumps, he switched to mountain biking with his dad during COVID because all the motocross tracks were closed. So he hasn't been riding mountain bikes that long, to qualify 10th place here in the Specialized Canadian Open. He's got a lot to show. Getting a little loose right there, started to lose the front end, but he was able to keep his head straight.
Yeah, you know, dropping into this track, you're going to have to do a lot of push-ups. That added just about 17 push-ups to his overall fatigue scale by the time he gets to the bottom of this run. That was a great save.
Yeah, fastest qualifying junior today in the men's category. Looking smooth through there, went inside, kind of skipped a few of the bumps, carrying that momentum through. Such a hard section.
Junior national champion, 5.3 back at split #2. Definitely lost some time with that compression.
Looking tight through there, maybe a little bit over braking. Gonna have to pay for that in these flat sections. Born in Vancouver, raised in Australia. That's a lot of the good water you need.
Yeah, that'll do it. That's an equation for a fast downhill racer right there, if I've ever heard one. Losing a little bit more time, 7 seconds back there at the next split.
Entrance into these chutes is so important. We've talked about the terminal velocity. Once your line is set, that's where you're going. There's no way to slow down. You're only speeding up. Taking that inside. Looked really, really smooth with those braking points. And through this bottom section. So he's got energy to give. He's played his game right, just not quite fast enough today. Gapping those rollers. Let's see what it is down here at the bottom. 7.5, so lost a little bit more time on that final sector, but a solid run from Ryder Wilson and a solid week here in the Canadian Open.
How about that? Richie Roots still hanging out there in the top 3. Great to see. 2 Canadians and an American in the top 3 right now, as we've got a pretty big name. Another North American coming up next. We talked about his crazy travel scenario. Our cameras caught up with him earlier. Let's listen in with Asa Vermette.
Have you been on 1199 before?
When it first opened, like the very first race, I was here when I was like 15 or whatever. So, I mean, I got some experience on it 4 years ago, I think.
Okay.
I've been watching Aaron's GoPros and stuff, so I think it'll be good.
Okay, well, good luck today.
Thank you.
I love that. Like, you know, I've just been watching Aaron's GoPro, so I think I'm ready to race. Let's do this.
And here we go. Asa Vermette, one of the most exciting riders on the downhill circuit right now. Scrubs off of that jump, turns it into a full whip. Here we go. He's not saving anything today.
Yeah, we've been seeing everybody kind of scrub and sneak off the other side of that rock. Ace is the first one we've seen scrubbing off the rider's right side of it. Yeah, almost a little bit landing sideways there.
Oh my gosh, absolutely slamming into that turn. You can see the speed.
I think we're in for a show.
Asa Vermette, one of the most electric riders on the circuit right now, doing it for that Nico Mullally Frameworks team, the most liberal team manager there is on the circuit. He even lets his riders do backflips at the World Cup races.
Yeah, you know, a happy rider is a fast rider, and Asa Vermette, loving the team he's on right now, led by Nico Mullally. Started his elite campaign with a huge win the start of this World Cup season. Look at that, he's green at split number 2.
He's
over
building
1 second. Oh, this is gonna be good.
He's building, and we've seen this time and time again out of Asa Vermette. He's a little bit of a slow starter in those sector 1s, but it really ramps up. See what he can do here, looking really smooth into this turn. It's so deceptive how slippery that is.
Yeah, he's smart through there.
Oh, little nose heavy through that section, but carrying momentum.
Back, or he's still ahead by 0.8, but losing just about 0.2 between the splits.
This is a super important section right here where the fatigue's setting in. Got to keep off the brakes, got to get through those sections. Railing that turn right there, staying smooth.
This is gonna be so close. Reminding you the time to beat a 3:16.
Oh, goes a little high right there, almost runs off track, saves it, but definitely shed a 10th or 2 right there. He knows that he's pushing into the bottom.
Oh, it's gonna be close. What's it gonna be? Oh, by half a second, Asa Vermette takes the lead. Oh.
You see him shaking his head. It wasn't pretty, but he got the job done. Barely holding on in that bottom sector. Yep. Kind of a run of ups and downs. Started behind, gained a bunch in the middle section and lost a bit on the bottom. Bit of a roller coaster run for Asa Vermette, but nonetheless, boosting into the lead.
How fun is this run to watch? When we saw him scrub off that rock at the beginning of the run, we knew what we were in for.
Yeah, definitely. You can see how committed he is into these sections. Eyes forward, shoulders squared up. Yeah, right there. Front wheel went over.
Yeah, for that reason, he was only ahead by 0.8. I thought he may have leaked too much right there. Oh, we got the man hanging out with us at the booth right now. Asa, congratulations moving into the hot seat. That run was so fun to watch. Immediately right over that rock, you're scrubbing, landing sideways. We're like, this one's on the edge. We heard a rumor that maybe you had a little less practice than you would normally like, getting in a little bit late. What was the story on that?
Yeah, man, both my flights got canceled in, so I missed first day track walk in practice. So I did 4 today in practice before this run, just to try to get as many as possible in, and it worked good. I had a pretty good run. I think there's still time out there. Dudes will find, but I'm just stoked. This track's super fun. I'm glad I laid down a pretty clean one until I almost got bucked over the front over there. And but yeah, it was good.
It's fun for you. It's fun for us as well. Thanks for giving us such a great show to watch, and we'll see how long it lasts. Way to go.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's kind of hard not to get behind that kid, right? He is so easy to root for. You hear the fans cheering for him already. Hey, we got another rider on course right now, and it's Tegan Cruz. The Crankworx 2025 overall downhill champion is on course. Let's see what he has.
Tegan Cruz looking super aggressive on that upper section. Had a really nice scrub off that rock, but kept it more composed than we saw Asa Vermette. That rear end got a bit loose. Look at how he's staying high, just kind of gliding through all the sections, reaching his legs out, catching the landings, getting the pops off. Look at that scrub. The lowest we've seen anybody go on that triple step up, straight onto the pedals.
I was going to say that we're at the part of the start list right now where people are squashing that jump that is usually hard to clear.
Yeah, going to take that outside, got the gap nice and smooth, railing those turns, staying high into this next section. Letting her buck, as they say.
Tegan knows his ways through the intricacies of these technical rock sections, but back by over 4 seconds here at the second split.
Tegan, no stranger to technicalities. He was the 2011 BMX World Champ in racing, so he's got the skills to pay the bills out here. 2025, he won the Silver Star. DH. Can he make it another win here today in Whistler? Looking good, got a solid scrub. He's reaching for speed, pedaling before he's on the ground.
Somebody's got fitness.
5.6 back right now. It's gonna be a tall order at this point. But you know Tegan's gonna send it through these bottom sections.
You know, he's still kind of within touch for top 3 though.
Getting off the back, shutting her down. Keeping it smooth through that berm railing, using that momentum to get through this last section. Your arms, your lungs, everything is screaming stop, but you have to say go. Keeps it clean around that bottom section. What's it going to be at the bottom?
Let's see.
6.5
for a top 3.
Goes into 7th place. Slotting in just behind Richie Rude, our previous longtime hot seat leader.
Yeah, how about these two, Asa Vermette and Jakob Jewett, just gapping themselves from the rest of the field here so far with 7 riders left to go. Yeah, this kid knows these lines like the back of his hand.
Off the back right there, just letting it dance. Where you can see maybe it got a little bit too much fatigue. He tightened up just a little bit, but able to have enough steam, put a solid effort all the way to the line.
Tegan Cruz into 7th place with 7 riders left to go. Next one warming up in the start hut. It's going to be none other than Jackson Goldstone.
We heard Asa mention that there's some time left up there on the hill. You know, that's fuel to the fire for Jackson Goldstone.
Yeah, somebody who's good at finding time left up on a hill. Every contour is an opportunity to generate speed when you're Jackson Goldstone, the bunny rabbit on a bike.
You think about it, Jackson's been riding the Whistler Bike Park in A-Line since he was just, 5, 6 years old. And he's tiny. He was even a more tiny kid. So his whole life, he has been struggling and asking and milking for speed, and it's turned into one of the most illustrious downhill careers in Canadian history. What's he got out here today?
Oh yeah, Jackson Goldstone on course. We've been impressed by this human since he was a microgrom all the way now until he is a world champion in the sport of downhill racing.
Staying all the way left, making that rock jump smaller, pre-hopping those jumps, driving the bike through the terrain, doing exactly what he needs to do. You can almost see the calmness in his early stages. It's just gonna ramp up as he comes down, staying solid. He's so light on the bike, just a little guy, but absolutely using it to his advantage.
Oh, he's green by just under a second.
We see him staying low, no pedals right there, so playing a little bit of a fitness game maybe. What lines he gonna take through here? Ryder's left or Ryder's right? Kind of goes, takes a middle line, gaps over the top. A little bit of creativity out of Jackson right there. Gaps in, back over to the left, squaring up that next turn.
Oh my goodness, up by almost 3 seconds here at split number 2.
2.9 proving that creativity absolutely paying off.
Jackson's finding that time left out on the hill. Asa said there was some.
That right there, his ability to slow down faster than anybody. I know it sounds weird, but it's the huge advantage.
Another second.
Railing that turn, scrubbing that jump for everything it's worth. The momentum is on his side, 3.8 up.
I mean, he's increasing his lead by a matter of seconds from split to split.
And it's ramping up. Just look how smooth he is, just gliding through that section. Losing the rear end for a second, but making it work. This bottom section is so important. Staying tight, railing around this outside. Momentum is looking optimal. Pumping those jumps. Goes a little high right there, almost runs off the track.
What's it gonna be? Tucks it through the finish line, and he's in the lead by 5.3 seconds.
That bottom mistake may have cost him a tenth or two, but 5.3 seconds, what a run out of Jackson Goldstone.
Look at this crowd just eating out of the palm of his hand.
That final obstacle, little bit of a mistake, might have put some question in his mind, but man, he did everything he needed to do before that to secure a solid, solid lead.
My shirt is good. Oh yeah, my shirt is good.
Fastest on all sectors. Smashing the fastest qualifying time by over 10 seconds. Jackson Goldstone, what a run.
Look at that. Okay, here's where he almost went wide out of that corner here at the bottom. We're gonna probably see that. Didn't even take a pedal in the final. Little push there, just, ooh, I gotta keep this thing between the tape.
Yeah, he came out of that section so good into that rut, just understeered slightly, almost clipped the pole. That would have not been a pretty crash right there, but he was able to stay on track and bring it across the line. Let's get a word with Jackson.
Jackson, your entire life we've been entertained by you out here in Whistler. What's it like being able to race in front of your hometown crowd? They are so loud for you. And I believe you were DJing last night before the race as well.
Yeah, it's been an amazing week here at Crankworx. You know, the fans have been so awesome, like down that whole race run, you know, cheering me on. It was definitely helped me, you know, get that motivation and push harder and put down a really good run like that. So, yeah, didn't quite expect that much time to be taken off from yesterday's quali, but yeah, that was really fun. Had a good run, clean. It's really fun to ride this track at like high pace because I think it actually rides better the faster you go. And especially with the conditions drying out, it's been a lot better. But yeah, big ups to the fans on the track, and thanks everyone for coming out. That was a fun one.
Let's hear it for Jackson Goldstone. Come on!
Yeah, awesome run right there from Jackson. But Mikey Delesalle is on course right now. He's had a breakout 2026. You've seen his face high in the standings in the World Cup all season long.
Oh man, did you? It looked like he almost got out off of line going onto the bridge right there.
Yeah, looking good, coming through. Canadian teammate of Asa Vermette, so he's riding with the best, training with Jackson, training with Aaron Gwynn.
Man, 6 riders left to go here after Jackson Goldstone put 5.3 seconds into the rest of the field. What a tough act to follow here. Mikey Delesalle going, all right, I'm gonna give it my all right here, but that was a performance.
Whoa, lets that back end dance around a little bit right there. Mikey Delesalle, definitely that next generation face for Canadian downhill, following in the footsteps of Jackson Goldstone. Gaps through there, kind of lily pads, makes it smooth. Nice scrub. We're seeing a lot of momentum right here out of Mikey. Quite a ways back, unfortunately. 8 seconds right there. That just shows you what a run Jackson Goldstone threw down. A little bit loose in sections, but keeping it composed.
You hear what Jackson said about his belief that this track actually rides smoother the faster you're going. That's some elite level perspective right there. If you can hold on, it's faster. If not, it just comes to a complete stop real quick.
Yeah, you heard me saying you want to stay on the top 30% of the compressions. That's just bouncing and skipping across the top like some dirt bikes through whoops. But if that front wheel drops and you get into a hole, it's disaster every time.
You can be back by 9.5 and still slot into 4th place. So a great run there for Mikey Delesalle, just outside of the top 3. Yeah, look at that top 3 right now. Jakob Jewett in 3rd. He's not going to repeat again. Asa Vermette in 2nd. Jackson Goldstone with that gigantic lead. With 5 riders left to go. Next up is going to be Andy Kolb.
Mikey coming through this upper section, just gliding through, hitting his lines. Gliding off of that rock drop. Didn't have to pull, kept his momentum driving. Yeah, almost went off of the side of that drop. Above the rut right there. Pinpoint accuracy. Mikey's still catching his breath, showing how physical this track actually is.
Yeah, actually come to think of it, we were chatting with Jackson pretty soon after he crossed the finish line, and he was just full, you know, full lungs, able to speak. Fitness of this kid's insane. When you're that small, you better be fit, right?
Yeah, you gotta be. Andreas Kolb, I'm excited for this one. 30 years old, out of Austria, doing it for the syndicate. Absolutely stoked to be here on this 1199 track, getting the full Whistler experience. Dances through those first S-turns really smooth. Andy's runs and his riding style is so deceptive.
Teammate sitting at the top of the leaderboard right now. Fellow syndicate rider here.
Coming in with a lot of speed, gapping out of that turn. Initiating those jumps early, keeping it smooth. Skipping off the top of that jump. Nice scrub right there, getting all of the transition. It's almost like an oversized pump track through that section. You got to catch the backsides. It's like an Excite Bike booster. Andy goes around the outside, gaps back into that middle section, rails the outside. Little hesitant back into the main line compared to what we've seen. He's back 4.5 right now. But we know that there's a huge gap.
I was going to say, insanely, that's, you know, sitting in second place contention.
Absolutely ripping. Good to see Andy out here. He's had kind of a rough season, missed a few finals throughout the year, had some bad luck. There's no better way to come out here to Crankworx, have a solid run, get your season back on schedule.
Losing a bit more there, back by 6.3.
Staying tight right there, bouncing through. You see the back end starting to break loose. It's getting drier and drier as this race is going on. Now that's going to mean these riders can go a little bit faster, but less traction means you have to be more accurate and more precise. Andy holding it together through that turn. We've seen multiple riders have issues.
Got to imagine it's just been getting drier and drier throughout the day as well.
Yeah, the sun's hot, the wind's blowing a little bit. Seems like the wind is what will really do it. 9 back into 4th place.
Yeah, we're really seeing those, you know, that story we were foreshadowing potentially becoming reality at the top of the show. Those riders with those big names with, you know, slower seating times than you would expect for them, really shaking it up, dropping early. So yeah, your #1 qualifier, Dane Jewett, is gonna have to find some magic out there. But our underdog coming up next, the one who I flagged early as potentially a wild card, Johnathan Helly. We'll get to see him next, see what he's able to throw at this 11.99 track. I look back at some highlights from Kolb's run here. Jackson Goldstone getting cozy in that hot seat with 4 riders left to go in our Specialized Canadian Open DH. Jakob Jewett sitting in 3rd, Asa Vermette sitting in 2nd. Can you believe that Jackson was out there DJing at the music night in the village? Like, anybody who understands what the energy of Crankworx Festival is like, you know, knows that you can get really sucked into a lot of fun, and to have a big party and to be a focal point of that party, DJing for a ton of rowdy mountain bikers in one of the underground clubs the night before racing, and then still drop that run. That he is soaking up Crankworx for everything it's worth.
He is him. I think is what
he does a really good job of being Jackson Goldstone.
Yeah,
it turns out
he's so good at it.
I was talking to Hector, who puts together that music night, and he's like, yeah. Jackson said, hey, I just found out it's the night before the race, so I thought he was going to say, hey, can we just not do it? And he said, can you just put me on early?
I love it. Man of the people, Jackson Goldstone has that time.
All right, here's my underdog out of Kamloops, BC, Johnathan Helly. Won the Hot Laps Enduro in Washington earlier this year. Won a Mountain States Cup stop in Utah at Solitude Resort earlier as well. An aggressive rider, big, tall guy just commanding that bike. Let's see what the story will be for Johnathan Helly. You never know.
Known for his fast and loose style, and we're getting to see it right off the bat right here. Crazy to think this Enduro crossover only jumped on a downhill bike for the first time in 2024. Surprised everybody, was the 2025 national champ here in Canada. Look at the speed right now. Johnathan Helly is carrying through.
I mean, this is a really old, obscure reference from a different sport, but him on the bike reminds me of David Villeman.
Helly right now 1.3 behind Jackson Goldstone's time of 3:11, which is 12 seconds faster than the fastest qualifying time. So Helly is on a run right here, railing the outside, kind of cuts in early, shortens it off, a line we have not seen yet. The crowd appreciates it.
Let's see if it was faster. I don't think so. Lost a bit.
5.5 back right now.
Hey, you got to give it to him for, you know, trying something different.
Yeah, definitely going to want to carry his momentum. Never mind that 5.5. You're fighting for the podium right now. Some of the fastest riders in the world within reach for Johnathan Helly right now. Drops into that section.
He's attacking more than we've seen in there.
Oh, getting loose. There's that loose side that we got to see. Skims the backside of the tree. Getting back on the pedals, using that big body and power. Speed tuck through that straight. This section is so loose. He comes in full steam right there. Letting her dance right there.
So on the edge.
Just a full passenger through these rock gardens right now. Willing the bike to go the direction he wants it to go. 7.6 back. It's not going to be the dream day, but he is on one. Absolutely blowing away his qualifying time.
Oh man, this is such a fun run to watch. Johnathan Helly entertaining everybody alongside the course. Everybody sitting on their couch watching this broadcast, going into 9th place. And I just love watching stories like this. This is a prime example of why this open format is so great. You can get somebody like Johnathan Helly out here coming from an enduro background, you know, really new to racing downhill, but an aggressive rider, able to just say, hey, I'm gonna just throw caution to the wind in seeding, seed 4th, and be right up there, shaking hands with Asa Vermette, Jackson Goldstone, and Jakob Jewett.
Looked like Johnathan Helly maybe had a drivetrain issue while he was doing those speed tucks. So more on the hill for him. Unfortunately, a little bit of a mechanical stopped him from capitalizing on that amazing qualifying time. But nonetheless, So fun to watch his riding style, loose and fast.
Yeah, I just got press on this.
Absolute proof that this format of an open category brings the excitement.
Yeah, keep your eye on Johnathan Helly. I really like watching him ride. I also like watching Jackson Goldstone ride, so why don't we do that?
Yeah, right off the bat right there, you see using that rider's left to keep it lower. Just how low he is to the ground. That's not a diss on his height. That's just how fast he is driving through the roughest parts of the track, skipping over that, turning something that's a braking zone into an acceleration point.
Also, just the young riders look up to him and the way he rides. You saw Camden Rutherfurd going for it, but getting swallowed up in that same section.
Yeah, definitely. It's not a given. You can't just watch and do this. Fully committed. So much technical capabilities, and this is where it almost all came apart. Somehow goes through this barrier right there, only inches away. I don't know how his pedal did not clip it.
I can't believe how instead of like panicking, he just reacted, threw his head up in the air and went, oh my God, how did I almost throw that away?
You know, Cam, you've been there. Sometimes all you can do is laugh about survival.
But like for somebody to do that in the middle of a race run, I love it. He's like, I'm already in the hot seat right there.
You know this means so much to him in the backyard.
Yeah, for sure. He's obviously won so many World Cups, but doing it in front of the hometown crowd is so special. Oh my gosh, somebody who this crowd has been wowed by forever is Troy Brosnan, the 7-time OG Canadian downhill champion. Hasn't been on the podium at the 1199 Canadian Open downhill. Opportunity to do it right now for Troy Brosnan.
Yeah, Troy Brosnan would love to make it a back-to-back Canadian Open weekend. Troy, one of the most decorated riders over the last 10 years, so consistently in the hunt for a lead of any world championship, and today, the 1199 course.
It's a different approach and different technique. Wow, he's in touch, look at that, just a 10th off.
0.15.
I was gonna say it's a different riding style, but Troy is one of the first riders we saw who has a smaller stature, smaller body frame, being able to just use technique to their advantage and find success. We obviously see Jackson Goldstone doing that as well with a slightly different riding style, but still, you gotta be that much better of a rider.
Yeah, definitely. 1.2 back now. We're about halfway down, so he's got something in there that is within reach, keeping that momentum, hitting those S-turns, railing those turns. Broke loose a little bit right there. Not going to affect his overall speed too much as he comes out into these flat areas, scrubbing into this braking zone. Doing it for Dale right there, number 3. Skipping through, scrubbing this jump.
Oh, the 10-time Australian national downhill champion is just 1.2 back behind Jackson Goldstone here at split number 2.
Back-to-back junior world champion back in 2010 and 11. He's been doing this for a long time. Goes a little wide right there. Had to grab more brake than he wanted. Stood up just a little bit. So if he's going to take this, he's going to have the cleanest bottom section we've seen. Gapping right there. He may have just done that. Let's see what it is as he comes around. Gapping those rollers, railing this final turn.
Oh, here we go. He may not be Canadian, but this crowd loves this Australian. The 7-time OG Canadian Open downhill winner goes 2nd place right now. Slots in between Goldstone and Vermette.
I believe it was that final section he got stood up just a little bit offline. Had to grab a little more brake than he wanted. And that momentum loss carried across the piste and not quite enough to bring him back into the green.
That was a great run.
You know, some riders, you kind of like hold your breath in moments. Troy never does that to me. He's so skilled, so calm.
Well, he's a joy to watch. What do you say we do it again? Let's take a look back at some replays from this run from the 7-time OG Canadian Open downhill champion, adding that 7th one to his tally just 2 days ago.
Yeah, easing into the run a little bit right here. Not quite a ton of aggression, but milking that scrub for everything it was worth. We saw a few riders going off the middle and landing flat, losing energy. Not Troy, one of the most calculated riders on the circuit, and that was the spot right there. He bounced just slightly to rider's left, had to brake a little bit to recover, and that momentum loss compounded across the piste and back.
Troy only needing to dodge one more rider to guarantee himself a podium finish in today's race on the 1199.
but he's got 2 riders with a lot to go for today.
Yeah, one in particular coming up next who has been undefeated on our Crankworx World Tour in downhill so far this 2026 season. Luke Meier-Smith, unbeatable in Christchurch and Rotorua. 2 giant riders left to go here. One with the last name Jewett, who, you know, that name Jewett is always at the top of the leaderboard when it comes to the 11.99 race here at Crankworx Whistler. Yeah, well, our cameras caught up with Luke Meier-Smith earlier. Listen in.
I tried a few different little lines there, still searching a little bit just to find the flow, but just trying to link it all together, yeah, and attack where I can on the pedals and see what we can make of it. So I feel like I have a few more seconds in the tank tomorrow, so we'll see where that puts me.
So when you're identifying the strong suit of Luke Meier-Smith, which category do you say he is most powerful in?
Yes, he is absolutely one of the most powerful riders out here on the circuit. Already talking about needing more out of this course. You see him pulling up, rear tire rolling into that jump, creating momentum where it doesn't exist. Luke Meier-Smith would love to make it a hat trick here in the 2026 Crankworx World Tour. Looking composed, pulls out of that turn and gets high. That's forcing his momentum forward.
Wow. Yeah, he's gonna need to find something special to compete with that time from Jackson Goldstone. Split number 1, we're gonna be seeing it here shortly. What story will that split time tell?
Luke Meier-Smith, one of the most...
Whoa! Ooh, almost getting a little bit vertical there. Needed to be leaning into that right-hander. Got kicked by that rock.
An absolute specimen of an athlete right there. So we either have a timing issue or something has happened before that split. I'm going to call it a timing issue. The cameras are still on him, so we'll see what happens down at the bottom. Luke is still pushing it. We're going to know right here to see how late he breaks. He's still pushing down, so he's still sending it. See what he's got right here. Staying high, lily padding into that turn. That berm right there, maybe the most important on the bottom half of this track. An opportunity to pedal right here for Luke Meier-Smith. That is his benefit. You can almost see him accelerating up that hill and out of screen. Holding it tight through there, braking just a little loose. Railing right there, good lean angle, keeping his eyes forward, driving the bike through the corners, trying to accelerate. Really smooth out of that one, staying inside. Back tire roll. We don't know split times right now, but he is still on it, pushing all the way to the finish.
Yeah, the body language not matching what we're seeing in the clock right here. We don't see any dirt on him, but man, was he ever still pushing down there toward the bottom.
Yeah, one thing that you can always count on is for Luke to leave all of the effort on the course. Definitely not what he wanted to see right there. It's like he's in an alternate universe. What do you mean, man? 37 seconds.
Yeah, you know, you can tell with his body language right now, he knows the level he's on. He's the guy who's won the first 2 stops of the World Tour. He's like, all right, we're going to get this timing sorted out. I know my run was faster than that. Yeah, the body language says it all. There wasn't a crash in that run.
Yeah, he was definitely pushing. He looked so clean through the bottom. Not just his close, but his decision in lines, where he was pumping, where he was expending energy. He knows his benefit is that physicality. He was on the pedals harder than anybody else.
Well, it's got to be crazy to be Luke right now in this situation, but also to be Jackson, because Jackson's going like, well, I know how much of a beast Luke is, and he just finished the run so excited to look at the screen. It's obviously probably not an accurate time, so out of Jackson's control right now, and a big mystery what the time might be for Luke Meier-Smith.
Yeah, you can really just read how the momentum's carrying. He's popping, he's catching backsides, he's having to push through stuff that's coming up to him sooner than he's used to. Scrubbing off this. This right here is super important, catching backside. He squared up this final section right here. We've seen some riders kind of stall, gets all the way outside, able to keep his momentum, gapping in, staying low. That back tire roll right there is like hitting a nitro in Ivan Stewart's off-road for you 40-plus-year-olds out there. You'll know what I'm talking about. Luke Meier-Smith waiting for that time.
Waiting for that time. It's almost like in slopestyle, we're waiting for the score. This never happens in downhill racing. But we have one rider left to go once we do get this time in for Luke Meier-Smith. That rider, of course, will be Dane Jewett. Our cameras caught up with him earlier, too. Let's have a listen.
I'm a bit surprised, to be honest. Wasn't feeling too great on this track this morning. Just super slick, so super unpredictable, and just can't really stay on line. But that run was like kind of just like my last practice lap with a few more pedals, and yeah, I guess I went first for now. But yeah, excited.
Well, that says something. He didn't think there was anything special about his seeding run, but he went first.
Yeah, the track was a lot slicker, a lot more risk had to be taken, so maybe the youthful enthusiasm really pushed him through, and that's what got him into first. But he needs to send it right now. Last man down the hill. Can the Jewett brother make history out here? 3 in a row for the brothers.
Yeah, Jacob's not going to win this race, but Jewett still could.
Looking really solid through that section, just so calculated and pinpoint perfection where his tires are going. He's 0.7 back right now, so
keeping it tight.
Definitely possible. Keeping it exciting. Here he is. Listen to the crowd through this section. He rails the inside on the upper, gaps in.
Oh my.
Accelerates through that turn, goes left. So a little bit different line. We see him gap out of view right there. 4.2 back. You can hear some breaths as he's coming through that section.
Look at Jackson as he sees the splits.
He knows it's going to take a lot in the second half.
But he's still waiting for that time for Luke.
Looking composed right there for Dane.
Oh.
Front end high a little bit right there, so maybe left a little bit of momentum on that table into this downhill. Can he claw back some time? 4.2 back, about halfway down. This shoot right now is super important. You gotta hit your line perfect. Bouncing through, slashing that wall with authority.
Remind you, 3:11 the times it beat. Dane Jewett back by 4.2 at the second split.
Time is melting away right now. I don't think this is gonna go into the hot seat.
Oh, look at that, the clock clicks past the 3:11. Dane Jewett through the line. It is going to be 5th place right there. So, as far as we know right now, we've got our fastest time, Jackson Goldstone, but we're still waiting for a time from Luke Meier-Smith.
Yeah, the brothers right now, 4th. Oh wait, what do we see right here? Luke Meier-Smith comes into 3rd place. It's coming in on our screen. It is unofficial at this point.
Oh, look at that. We are seeing a time coming in for Luke Meier-Smith right now. We're gonna say, as you say, Alan, unofficial, but we're seeing Luke Meier-Smith slot into 3rd place right now. And Jackson Goldstone appears to have taken the win. Of course, we're gonna wait for the official word on that. But what a show out here.
The Jewett brothers doing an amazing job out here. Only about a half a second difference when it all came down to it. So it looks like
there it is. Official. Luke Meier-Smith in 3rd, Troy Brosnan in 2nd, and Jackson Goldstone takes the win.
Matt Goes Faster said it right. Jackson, the Canadian king right now.
So cool.
This is Jackson's first time in elites racing this track. You know that's the momentum he wants to carry into the rest of the season.
Well, there you go. You see Jackson Goldstone accepting the gold medal here in the Specialized Canadian Open Downhill. Make some noise. Yeah, Jackson. Jackson, I don't want to be presumptuous, but I think they like you out here.
I mean, I like them too. So yeah, thanks guys for coming out. That was a really sick day. Stoked to pull off the win and do it for the home crowd. So
we talk to a lot of the riders here when we get the opportunity to interview them about this track and how it compares to other tracks. For you, it's different because it's just sentimental. It's hometown, home field advantage too, but also how does this
compared to some other tracks that challenge you on the rest of the circuit throughout your summer?
I'd say this is one of the most challenging by far. You know, we got one of the steeper tracks, I'd say, and then it has that, you know, flat section in the middle, flat section, little sprint at the bottom, and then, you know, some of the gnarliest, you know, tech sections and big jumps. So it's really got everything, and it's such a good, fun lap to do all the way down. So it 100% compares to what else we race across the world, and if not, I'd say it's even better.
Yeah, Jackson, I mean, kind of an up and down season, maybe a slow start, only comparing you to yourself. Obviously an amazing season so far. Where we're at right now, taking this win, what does that do for the foundation for what's to come?
100%, yeah. I mean, like that definitely feels good to get a win on the books this year. That's the first one of 2026, so it feels good to get back on the top step and have that motivation and a little bit of pre-practice going into the World Cup here as well the following year, or later in the year. So yeah, definitely a good motivator and feeling good on the bike for the rest of the season.
Yeah, man, you got me excited. Good luck the rest of the season. I'll be watching.
Cheers. Thanks, boys. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
How about that Jackson Goldstone guy? I mean, we've loved watching him his entire life, from the run bike to his dirt jump and slope style years to now just being the man on a downhill bike, flying those rainbow stripes and taking a huge win here in front of the Whistler crowd. I know he's going to be hanging out on Sunday watching slopestyle as well. This kid used to do double flips. Can you believe that? We think of Jackson Goldstone now as the downhill racer, but there's been so many chapters of Jackson Goldstone.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. Double flipping at 9 nights as an amateur and just deciding, you know, I think I'm just going to race for a few years and maybe I'll come back to freeride another time.
Final results there. Jakob Jewett, the winner from 23 and 24, back in 5th place right now. Asa Vermette, great to have him out here racing, finished 4th. And then the podium, Luke Meier-Smith adding another podium to his 2 gold medals so far this season on the Crankworx Downhill Tour. Troy Brosnan adding a 2nd to the win he took in the OG race 2 days ago. And of course, Jackson Goldstone taking the win. The rest of the list right there.
Henry Sherry sneaking into the top 10 right there. Amazing day for him. We see some other new names right there. Johnathan Helly making his name known. Looking back right here at Ace's run. Such a cool track. We hear about how physical this thing is. One of them.
Troy Brosnan right there, hopping through, the veteran. Getting that silver medal here on the 1199's got to feel good. That's his first podium on this track, even though he's the winningest rider from the OG Canadian Open Downhill Trail.
Yeah, definitely. And looking back here at Jackson, lights flashed before my eyes before he crossed the finish line. But able to make it stick for a huge advantage as he crossed the line, taking the win today.
Always an entertainer. He was just keeping us on our toes as he almost went through the tape there, but it was clean through the finish line. Gold medal for Jackson Goldstone. Thanks for joining us here in the Specialized Canadian Open Downhill. Good night. This downhill race is brought to you by Specialized and by Whistler Mountain Bike Park.
These are the moments, chasing that feeling. It's just you and the trail. The trees speed up, time slows down. You have no regrets that you called in sick.
You guys! Yeah, homies.
baby. Insane day, a downhilling out here. The Specialized Canadian Open DH. And, you know, with this big adrenaline dump, can you believe that we are far from over for the weekend? We still got slopestyle coming up on Sunday. We got a chill day tomorrow where we get to ride and just get to feel the, you know, feel the feels that are Crankworx Whistler. And
chill day.
Hit some berms of our own. But I'm looking forward to slopestyle, man. This is going to be a great one. Rhapsody.
Yeah, I'm really hyped. It's you know, the next evolution of slopestyle here in the Crankworx Whistler Village. You know, all these riders, the level that has been increasing this year, I feel like the learning curve and the new tricks that we've seen, it's gotten steeper. I can't believe it's even happened, but we're seeing things like 1440s on the reg. It's amazing.
It's on a level. It's going to be insane. So join us on Sunday for that. But we got some business to take care of right now. You know how I teased you at the beginning? I promised that we were going to give away some Crankworx merch, a t-shirt and some socks. Well, guess what? We got a winner. And his name is Jeff Sweat, 8313. So usually I keep this secret. This is what I do, Jeff Sweat. I figure based on your name, you'll appreciate this. That's what I've been doing with this merch the entire show off camera. We're going to send this to you, Jeff, so congratulations. And some socks. You got feet right. Congratulations. Thanks for playing our game. And now, you know, you didn't have to be here, but you got some Crankworx merch, which you can only get two ways. You either got to be here or you got to win our competition. Sweat!
Yeah, he definitely had the best comments. I saw him popping up. He had me laughing. I was LOLing on the inside.
Lol. Yeah, you know what? Sometimes the way to win is to make us laugh. That's always a proven method to get yourself some free merch. So, with 3 rounds under our belts in the Crankworx Downhill Series for 2026, the leaderboard looks like this. Luke Meier-Smith may not have won this race and made it 3, but he sure did play some good defense.
Yeah, he extended his lead a little bit right there. And then we do have a mix-up. Gilchrist dropping back to 4th right there in the downhill. Tegan Cruz in 3rd. Troy Brosnan in 2nd. Richie Rude moving his way up to 11th with a solid finish tonight.
Well, so that's interesting. We got Luke Meier-Smith still at the top of the leaderboard for the Crankworx Downhill Series. I wonder who's at the top of the leaderboard when it comes to King and Queen of Crankworx. With all those points that Luke has earned this season, he's got to be in the running as well. We've got our mathematicians on the case right now to see what our series standings look like for King and Queen of Crankworx, with 2 more stops left to go after Whistler. Of course, Whistler is far from over. We've got slopestyle coming up on Sunday, but next up it will be Silver Star. Another BC stop, Vernon, British Columbia. And then we're gonna leave BC. You know, usually our Crankworx stops are all British Columbia. We're gonna go all the way to the other side of the country, Mont Saint Anne, Quebec. And we're gonna wrap things up there. Not only will we be racing the legendary Mont Saint Anne downhill track, but we're, for the first time ever, going to be having a slopestyle world championships. We'll crown a world champion, and I'm sure that track is going to be amazing as well. I've heard Matt McDuff is designing that.
Yeah, brand new course that's going to be there for that event. No advantage to the local heroes.
Well, thank you so much for joining us out here today in the Specialized Canadian Open Downhill. Congratulations to all our winners. Aletha Ostgaard for the women, Jackson Goldstone for the men. It's been a great day of downhill racing. We will see you on Sunday for slopestyle. Adios, amigos.